Welcome to Hey That's Me, a commentary podcast. I'm Patrick Hotner.
I'm Brian Lynch. Patrick, I hope somebody really good is on today.
Yeah, we got a good one today.
Because I don't want my time wasted or the listeners' time wasted. So if it's not a superstar comedian doing commentary for one of the most beloved movies of all time, don't waste my time.
Brian, I got great news for you.
What? Tell me.
You ever see, okay, let's back up a little bit further. We'll go back to the 40s. Do you know this guy, the Caped Crusader?
Do I know the Cape Crusader?
Yeah.
Dracula? Yes.
Yes, Brian, you're right. Today we're watching 1931's Dracula.
That's very exciting. Who did we get for that? Because I would think most actors from that have passed away or don't remember funny stories from set.
We got Robert Wuhl.
Dracula's Robert Wuhl?
No.
Oh, my God.
Batman's Robert Wuhl, Brian. We're watching 1989's Batman.
Wait, Patrick, hold on. That's one of my favorite movies and one of my most, it's one of the reasons I make movies.
Is that true?
Are you telling me we watched Batman with Robert Wuhl? I don't believe you.
We did. Do you not remember it? It was kind of a little while ago, but you don't remember it?
No. I hope it went well.
It did. It went well. It was fun. Why is it the reason you decided to make movies?
Well, because just leading up to it was so exciting. Like I would just hear about like, oh, Michael Keaton's my favorite actor. I love Tim Burton. Like every piece that was announced, Danny Elfman, Prince, like were among like my favorite like composer, singer, like. And so I just had to know everything about Batman that I could find out. So I got every magazine. I read the adaptation, the novelization adaptation. Like for my birthday that year, I got the Prince album and I brought it to school to show everyone. Like I just like it's like that and Star Wars kind of, and the Muppets, of course, ignited my love of movies and my desire to know about everything about making them and everything about them. So yeah, I hope I mentioned that to Robert Wuhl.
Yes, you do. Is it still your favorite Batman movie?
No, I think Batman Returns is.
Yeah.
This is my second, and I think The Batman is my third.
Mm-hmm.
Robert has a different opinion on the quality of the Batman movies. He has a really interesting theory that it isn't wrong. It's pretty interesting, but it's not. I don't agree with it, and I didn't tell Robert I didn't agree with it, but it's not too far off. I'm not saying you'll see. It's in readers. The readers of this podcast. Wait for that. Wait for his theory on the quality of Batman movies.
If you were going to make a Batman movie, is there a villain you would put in or characters that you would put in that maybe haven't gotten the chance to shine in a film yet?
I would love to see a young Robin with Batman. I don't think that's been done at all yet. I mean, Chris O'Donnell was pretty much Val Kilmer's age.
Yeah.
Like they seem like they were more drinking buddies than like a young kid. And I would like to see that in terms of villain, of course, Egghead or Bookworm or King Tut.
The big three.
Yeah. I don't know why they haven't been done. Who's your favorite Batman villain?
I mean, I like the Penguin a lot, but more so the Adam West Penguin or like the animated series Penguin. You know what I mean?
Right.
I like campy, weird Penguin more than like grotesque or realistic, you know?
Yeah. Although I do love the Batman's Penguin, and
I do too.
And the show, The Penguin, was great.
Yeah.
It just was, it was pretty startling where they went with him. But
yes. I'm sort of always looking for a little more campy version of Batman, though.
I like both, but I miss that. I do miss it. I at one point I know that Bill Murray and Eddie Murphy were going to be Batman and Robin, and I think Ivan Reitman was going to direct, and it was stuff like they were going to hop on like giant typewriters, like to solve a Riddler riddle.
I wonder if that script exists.
I don't know. That's a good question.
I'll look.
And that sounds fun. I don't think we'll ever go back to it. The closest we will is the Lego Batman movie,
which is great.
Elite. Yeah. So good, especially the first half before it becomes a parody of everything. When it's just like a parody of Batman, I love that movie so much. I still like that part. I think Michael Cera is amazing as Robin, and of course Will Arnett's great. But I forgot about that one when I was ranking them. That would be in my top for sure. It's a crazy character that can be the Adam West character, but also be the Ben Affleck character in Batman versus Superman. Like it's very cool that he can stretch. You know, he can be different things.
I wish he could stretch for real.
Well, that's the only thing holding him back.
Yeah.
I think
if he was like a Mr. Fantastic version of Batman, that would be fun.
But DC Universe already has 2 stretchy guys.
Okay, great. So why not 3?
Well, you don't need 2, really. I mean, you just need Plastic Man. Anyone that says you also need Elongated Man is a filthy liar.
Who's Elongated Man?
He's in the Justice League. He's a detective, but he stretches.
Oh,
and when there's a case to solve, his nose wiggles.
He hasn't been in movies because
he was in the Flash TV show.
Oh, okay.
But fun thing about Elongated Man is he and his wife Sue were like the mascots of the Justice League. They'd hang out she'd man the trouble alert kind of thing, and they were like real charming and goofy characters. And then in the late 90s, early 2000s, is that right? Maybe then I might be getting off the timeline. They did a book called Identity Crisis, where Sue was murdered horribly, and you found out that she was raped years ago as well. So they tried to make it real dark. And Brad Metzler wrote it. It was very, very well written. I don't kind of agree with doing that to Elongated Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't need to do it. You don't need to. But it was well done for what it was, for sure.
Sure. Brian, for people who haven't listened to this podcast, do you want to describe what it is?
Sure. We talk about Elongated Man and his wife, Sue Dibney.
It's mostly a Sue Dibney focused podcast.
What would we call an Elongated Man podcast? His name is Ralph Dibney. If you need that. How about now? That's a stretch.
I call dibs.
That's good. He also the stuff he drinks that makes him stretch, and he has to keep drinking it or his body can't.
Whiskey?
I believe yes. It's actually he's just drunk. So like he has whiskey muscles, and also when he falls, his body's loose. He's loosey goosey, so he thinks he stretches, but not really. No, I think it's called Gingold. I might be wrong there, but you want to fact check that for me?
Gingold?
Make sure? Gingold is what Ralph Dibney, aka Elongated Man, drinks. But my point is, you don't need him. Did I get it right?
It is Gingold, yeah.
You don't need him in the DC universe. You just need Plastic Man.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, wow. Oral consumption of Gingold extract can grant one abilities of super elasticity. However, this is not a guaranteed effect and can just as easily lead to death.
Not for him. He did die, and then he and Sue solve crimes as ghosts now.
I mean, this guy sounds like he rules.
Yeah, you can stretch when you're dead too, I guess. As a ghost,
I guess so.
You can just assume anything. But they may have already taken that. They might have already taken that back, and he might just be alive, and Sue might be alive. They tend to do that in comic books. My favorite DC character of all time was shot in the head, and he's running around fine now. So I don't know.
Did they ever give a reason why he's running around fine?
Yeah, there's like usually 5 stories that kind of take it back.
Sure.
But the guy who shot him in the head was also one of my favorite heroes, and he's like a villain now. I don't know if they've ever really have him back as a hero. Yeah. Although Sean Gunn is playing him in Superman, so maybe they're headed towards making him a hero again. I don't know.
We'll have to wait and see, won't we,
Pedro
folks?
Pascal played him in WWA4.
What's WWA4? Oh,
84.
Oh, yes. What was his name? Maxwell Gold?
Maxwell Lord.
Lord. Yeah.
Great character. Great.
What's this podcast, Brian?
Okay, well, this podcast is where we basically talk about Sean Gunn's roles, and this podcast is where we watch movies and TV shows with people that help make them, and they tell us fun stories and memories from making them.
And it's an audio commentary, yeah, and you can sync it up while you're watching the movie, or you can just listen to it like it's a podcast.
Yeah. Don't sync it up yet. I hope you haven't started Batman yet.
You're going to be so confused. We haven't talked about anything regarding Batman except for Egghead.
I wish, by the way, that we had talked about Elongated Man with Robert Wuhl. I think that
he would have loved it.
He would have been, in his prime, a great Elongated Man.
Sure. He would have been a fun King Tut.
Oh, yeah, he'd be great.
He would have been He would have been a fun Egghead.
He'd be a good Blue Beetle, my favorite character. Yeah. That's really interesting. Yeah. Anyone that's kind of light, I could see him.
He would have been great on the Adam West show.
And also, he's an actor. He could. Yeah. I don't know why I'm pigeonholing him as he could be the goofy ones. He's just a good actor.
Yeah.
Was it Cobb where he was kind of?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember him being not warm and as he was in Batman. Anyway, he was great. Do you want to tell everyone when we're done with this about the sound problems we had while it was going on?
Okay, so there might be some sound problems. I don't think so. I think it basically sounds okay, but we'll explain once we're done watching the movie. All right, so you can sync up the movie. It's streaming so many places. You'll be able to find it pretty easily. And press play in 3, 2, 1, go. There we go. All right, here we are. We're watching Batman.
This is very exciting. This is my favorite one we've done.
We're here with Robert Wuhl. Robert, how are you?
I'm fine.
Now, Robert, how did this happen for you?
I had done Good Morning Vietnam and Bull Durham, and my agent got me a audition with the great Marion Dougherty, who is the grand doyen of casting directors, and she was actually a fan of mine, so that worked out nice. I loved Marion, and she had me come in and read for the part, and then a couple of days later, she said, "I'm going to bring you in and meet with Tim Burton," and I met with Tim Burton. I read with Tim Burton. And then he came to see an early screening of Bull Durham and told me I got the part.
Wow. Had you met like Keaton before?
Oh yeah, Michael.
And stuff, right?
No, Michael I knew because he was a stand-up. That's me. I had met with Michael because he was a stand-up comic, and so we were stand-up comics together.
Yeah.
So I met Michael. Not didn't know him very well, but knew him. And people forget. If there was social media back then, there's no way Michael Keaton would have they would have withstood the avalanche, because there was an avalanche.
Yeah.
There was a big pushback against Michael, especially I remember him being in London. Mr. Mum, there's Marion Dougherty. Mr. Mum is playing Batman, and you see that credit, Mrs. Her costumes by
she has
Glenn
her
Henry.
own...
That was her assistant.
Oh,
that was her assistant.
Wow.
And the costume designer Bob Ringwood, who was a nominee, they didn't get along, her and Kim, and so he was going to take his name off it until they put that credit there.
Interesting.
Oh no, they didn't get along.
That's so funny.
So let's get back to
Anton First was a genius. This is the design of the whole thing. He had major demons. Wound up jumping off a roof about a year later. But everything, all Marvel movies, everything should give a royalty to Tim Burton. Everything. There was nothing like this.
Yeah.
There was nothing like this before. They were scared it was going to be too dark. And by the way, Gruber and Peters, right there, I once asked them, I said, who would you, they had a different take on this thing.
John Peters had a different take on something? What? That's wild.
But both, I don't remember, was Peter or Gruber, I asked him, who would you have gone to if you didn't get Keaton?
Yeah.
And his thought was Bill Murray or Chevy Chase.
Wild.
Whoa.
I mean, you gotta, cause remember, they were thinking Batman like Batman TV, which
Yeah,
I
yeah,
hated.
For sure.
See, this was amazing because you walked into Gotham City. This is all built.
Yeah.
And this was staggering to see. This is the production design.
Is that Pinewood, right? In
yes,
London?
This is Pinewood. This is where they did the James Bond series. And this was quite wonderful.
How so you knew Keaton from stand up.
Yes.
Had you ever met Jack?
No.
Okay.
No.
How was the first meeting with
Nobody
that?
liked Jack. Jack was great. Met him. I think I met him first at the first reading we had.
That was here.
I was 2 weeks. No, that was in London.
Oh wow. Okay.
I was in London. We all gathered in London about 2 weeks ahead, or a week or two ahead. Now, you got to remember, Batman's the most expensive movie of all time going into this.
Right.
So, and the first reading went really well, really, really well. And but as what happens is after you have a reading, everybody gives their responses and notes, and it's all done in order of rank.
Sure.
I mean, Jack went first, then Michael, then Kim, then. At the time, Sean Young, and then me. Kim wasn't there, excuse me. Sean Young and then me. And so there were changes made, and some lines get cut, things get changed, but it went really well. Everybody was very excited. 2 days before shooting, they have another reading. Now, this time, everybody's there. All the big brass of Warner Brothers is there. Now, during the first reading, Mark Canton was there, who had the studio, and John Peters, me, the cast. That was it. Marion. The second reading, everybody's there. Terry Semel and Bob Daly, who really were the CEOs of the studio. What's his name? Who was the head of Warner Brothers? Mark Canton. Everybody's there. And it's going great again. But some things change. Some things may not have worked as well. You change stuff, and sometimes it works, and you go back. And Sean Young, in the middle of it, just says, "I feel like I'm disappearing from the pages."
Oh, no.
and the air just went out of the balloon,
Yeah.
and she did the rest of the reading in monotone,
Oh my gosh.
and it really put a pall on it. And remember, people's jobs are at stake. This is the most expensive movie, and of course, what happens on the first day of shooting is that she's not shooting the first day. She's riding a horse with Michael Keaton because they're practicing this thing around Wayne Manor, and she falls off the horse and she separates her shoulder.
Wow.
And they wasted no time in replacing her.
Yeah. Do you think that it was a lucky accident for them, or were they upset that they had to find someone new?
Both.
Yeah. Okay.
Did they add the horse scene just to get rid of her?
So they got rid of the horse scene.
Right. Yeah.
The horse scene's gone.
So is that how nerve-wracking is that doing that table reading for you when all the brass is there? Are you scared about it? Like, do you feel secure in your job? You're like, I'm fine. I'm good.
I don't remember how I thought. It was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
The
The look of this movie is great.
Get out of here.
you forget.
What a hot take from me.
Forget about this. I remember seeing this, shooting this. I would go to the set every day, pretty much.
Yeah. How long were you over there?
4 months.
Wow.
In London on Batman per diem. It was great.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
It was great.
What were your favorite things to do in London while you were there besides go on set?
Go to the theater.
Yeah.
I went to theater a lot.
Had you spent a lot of time there
Not
before?
much, no.
No.
Can we get back to Michael Keaton for a minute?
Yeah, sure.
When you heard he was cast, what were your thoughts?
Well, I knew Michael a little bit, and I thought, remember, he had a working relationship with Tim through Beetlejuice. I also knew Michael, he's a Pittsburgh kid. Pittsburgh's a tough city. And I had seen Clean and Sober, and it's a dark movie. And I knew Michael could do this. There wasn't a doubt in my mind Michael could do this. Michael had more range. There wasn't a doubt in my mind Michael could put this off. But it was hearing the backlash. He wouldn't have survived it today.
Right.
Yeah.
With it just social media.
Was that was already coming out while you guys were filming? Because
He
they
was
announced
there.
him.
No, he was scored. That was already there. Now Billy D was supposed to play Harvey Dent because he was supposed to be Two-Face in a later, and for whatever reason it didn't happen. They screwed him over.
He would have been great.
I mean, he's great in this. I wish he has more to do. Like it clearly is setting him up for something else. How much Batman had you absorbed before being in this? Were you an Adam West fan? Or
No,
not at all.
no, not at all. Not at all. I did not. I mean, when I was a kid, I the first Batman, okay, was different. And it was, but I didn't like the jokiness and stuff like that. As a comic book fan, I kind of took Batman more seriously.
Sure.
So, and I remember seeing this. This they shot the first couple of. This might have been the first day of shooting. This and all the Jack Palance stuff was done in the first 2 days of shooting.
Wow.
Cherry Hall, who is now married to
Rupert Murdoch.
Right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
But she was with Mick Jagger at
I
the
think
time?
she had already passed Mick Jagger by this point.
Okay. So he didn't visit.
No, he
Funny way
wasn't
to
there.
put it.
Did
they shoot Jack out? Or was he there the
Jack
whole time?
Palance.
I think he was there the whole time.
Oh,
Nixon.
okay.
Yeah, he was there the whole time.
Yeah.
Wow. I was watching the DVD bonus behind the scenes stuff yesterday, and he seemed like he had such a good time. Like he was talking about it with so much love, and it was so nice to see.
It really was. It was great. It was very special. I mean, he was Tim was under pressure a lot. He was under a lot of pressure from the two producers, but.
How was he as a director with you?
Oh, he's wonderful. I mean, God, I owe my career to partly to Tim Burton. So, he was great. I mean, he's an artist. He's a visual artist. Tim will tell you he doesn't know story at all. He's, story's not Tim's strength, and he'll be the first to tell you that. But what he does visually and it works good for cartoon stuff because you're not getting into heavy character study here.
Mm-hmm.
Does he give acting notes? Does he?
I don't remember him talking much. Oh, here we go.
Oh,
there we go. This guy, Bill Hooton, was great.
Yes.
I loved him. He was an expat living in England.
He's in the first Star Wars movie.
He's a great guy. He's passed.
Looks like Orson Welles in Touch of Evil.
That's true.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's what he's going for.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's
There's me.
Whoa, look at that
There's
handsome guy.
me. Oh, I was skinny back then. Actually, I don't weigh much more now.
You look the same.
You do. You look the same.
Well, thank you, Manjaro.
Comfortable costume.
Oh, it's great.
It's just regular clothes. Like there's nothing.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Are you outside for this, or is this on a
No,
set?
it's on the set.
Okay. How much did you spend outdoors?
It's outside.
Yeah. Was it cold?
It's not inside a studio. It's outside.
Yeah.
Was it cold? I don't remember that.
On the behind the scenes stuff, they said they were filming during the winter. And,
Yes,
and
that's
people
true.
Were
Yeah.
chilly at night.
Yeah, it could have been.
Late
Well, remember, we
October
started, well, we got to keep in mind, though, I think we started in October.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we went till January. So.
Yeah. Maybe the coldest. The coldest time to be there.
Okay, now we got, is there a 6-foot bat in Gotham City? That's right. That was in the script.
In the trailer.
Right.
Yeah.
And, and that's an ad lib line.
That's you?
Yeah, that's an ad lib line.
That was an on-set ad lib, or
Yeah.
okay.
You know, when you do that, you never figure there was ever going to, you don't know what's going to be in the movie.
Of course.
You never know.
When was the first time you saw the trailer? Because the trailer was huge. That was like a big deal.
I got to tell you, I remember seeing it at Century City, I think it was, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to see it there, or I went to see it at the Crest Theater, which is now the Nimoy Theater right up the
yeah.
street here. That's another movie theater gone.
Yeah.
And the reaction was really special.
Yeah. Did you know on set it was going to be something special?
Easy to say yes,
Yeah.
but you didn't know. You didn't quite know. Here's what we knew. I said, it'll be released. You know, it was like they're not going to, dump this movie. I mean, but there was a lot of worried about how dark it was. There was a lot of it. Even when I saw the original, when I saw the first time I saw it, I was with producer Mark Johnson, Academy Award-winning producer, and he said, I don't know how this is going to do. It's like it's awfully dark.
Yeah. And it changed cinema.
It
changed
totally
movies
did.
like in so many different
Totally
ways.
did. And
Yeah.
especially now, I have a theory about this first hour is phenomenal. I think. I have a theory that if you put all the Batman, now I'm going to take just the first incarnation. I'm not talking about the Dark Knight. The first incarnation of those 4 or 5 movies, and you put them end to end, hour to hour, that each hour gets progressively worse.
Right.
It is. I really believe the first hour of this is phenomenal.
Yeah.
The second hour, pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Then you go to Batman Returns. The first hour, good. Second hour, not so good. Then you go to Joel Schumacher, and each hour from them goes more and more into hell.
Well, they went back to the silly. They went back to
that's
the
what they
idea.
wanted.
That was, yeah.
That's because Batman Returns was so dark.
Yes.
Right.
That they went even darker, and it didn't do the money.
Yeah.
That they wanted to go silly. Okay, here we go. Here, this was a fun scene. This is the last scene we shot, pretty much. I think I shot this in January.
Oh wow, it's a cool set. It
it's gorgeous. Okay.
And now Bob Kane was supposed to be that
Yeah,
guy right there.
I
right?
think one of them.
He
Yeah,
couldn't show up.
Did you meet Bob Kane?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I think maybe I don't know if I ad-libbed that or not.
I heard an interview.
I ad-libbed
yesterday where he
that.
did.
Yes, I heard about this. And
That's written.
They were fine with the ad libs. They didn't care.
Tim never cared.
Yeah.
If it worked, it worked. If it didn't, it didn't.
How was Kim?
She was okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's a hard thing to come in at the last second. And
In some ways, yes.
yeah.
In some ways,
I guess you
have
can't stress about it.
You have incredible leverage.
Sure.
They had to get. Well, the first thing they wanted, they actually, when she fell off, they wanted Michelle Pfeiffer.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And who I had done our first movies together, Hollywood Nights. I was hoping that would happen. The problem was that Michael Keaton and Michelle had a relationship that had ended about a year before, and Michael was now brought his ex-wife over. He's trying to get back to his ex-wife, and there's no way in hell he's having Michelle over there.
Right.
So, and he was very upset about it, and he put his foot down.
I feel like the general public doesn't know how much those kind of things impact behind the scenes of movies, where
And
it's like, I can't do that.
What's interesting
We
is the
don't get
next
along.
movie, she's there.
She's fine. They got
and
over
she
it.
steals the movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Their chemistry's pretty good too.
Yeah.
So,
It makes sense.
Yeah.
So would you guys hang out while the shooting wasn't happening at all?
I
or-
would. No,
Yeah.
I because I wanted to see everything. I went to dailies quite often.
Yeah.
Tim let me do that, and it was an hour away. The set was an hour away.
You were staying in the city?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Okay, here's Jack Palance.
What a guy.
He was interesting as hell.
Yeah.
He was an interesting. He never sees his movies ever.
Oh,
Wow.
interesting.
He never goes to see them.
I met him when I was a kid.
Yeah.
We went to, I know, it's an insane, this is a very insane story that sums up my childhood. We went to the groundbreaking for the World War II Memorial in D.C., and they were doing a panel talking to actors who were in World War II. And they were doing a Q&A, and my dad goes, go ask him if you can have an autograph. And I was like, okay, because I'm 5. And I did it, and he brought me up on stage and signed a program and stuff, and it's
sweet.
on C-SPAN.
Oh, wow.
Like, there is video footage of me doing this on C-SPAN.
Is that on your IMDb?
I don't think it is, but now it will be.
Similar story involving Batman, though. I met Adam West at a supermarket opening, and I swear he was dressed as Batman.
Sure he was.
Yep, it was
Yeah,
70
sure he
was.
or 80. Yep.
That's so funny.
Yep.
So how was Palance? You were, I'm assuming, a fan of his before.
Palance, he was only there for about 3 days.
Yeah.
This is the first day of shooting right here. This is the first scenes they shot, I think. He was interesting. I mean, he was around a long time, and I remember Nicholson was really excited about meeting him.
Mm-hmm.
He was known as Walter Jack. Originally, his name was Walter. In early credits, you'll see Walter Jack Palance. He always referred to him as Walter Jack. And I remember we were having a party, a pre-party, the day before shooting, and Palance was flying in that night, and everybody was waiting for him. Nicholson's very excited, so he comes in, and everybody's there, and there's a little line to receive him and everything. And Nicholson's in front of me, and he's really excited, and Palance, thank you very much. He goes to Jack, and Jack goes, oh, it's great to meet you. Thank you very much. Goes to the next guy. Nicholson turns to me and goes, warm guy.
So it's good they shot him out in 3 days then.
Yeah.
No, he just shot these scenes, and he was gone.
Right.
Yeah. Who were your guys growing up? Who were your actors that you liked?
Thousands of them.
No, I know, but were there any ones that you were like, I want to be like this guy?
Oh, well, no, I never thought about that because I didn't think about being an actor. But I mean, all of them, anybody from, remember I'm older, so I mean, everybody from Spencer Tracy to Charles Lawton to, I love John Wayne, I love Jimmy Stewart, I love them all.
Yeah.
I love character actors, anybody from Walter Brennan to Edmund O'Brien to, Martin Balsam to, I mean, I liked actors, I liked movies, I liked directors. Billy Wilder. I used to drive in with Michael Goff. Michael Goff, Bill Hooton and I would drive in together from the city.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes Nicholson would offer me a ride back, which was my best memories because I'd hear the stories.
Yeah. How was Michael? Because he's one of the two that is in all four
made
of
all
these
four,
movies.
yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't have that much discussion with him. He was nice. He was British. He was very British.
Yeah. Sure.
This dress, okay.
Yeah.
This is where he took off his name off the. Bob Ringwood said, he goes, she's wearing a wedding dress, and he said, I don't want my name on the picture.
Wow.
And they actually flew this dress in. She insisted. This is when you have leverage. She flew this dress in. It actually had its own seat on the Concorde.
Oh my gosh.
This is Batman money.
Of course. Of course.
We're getting the dress next week for the podcast.
Yeah.
Pretty excited.
The dress is going to do commentary. That's amazing. Did you go over on the Concorde too?
Yes.
What was that like?
It was great. Actually, there's a story that they didn't shoot my last scene, the first scenes that you saw in the office, until much later. It was supposed to be done earlier. Kim had missed it for some reason, and they had to keep pushing it back. Well, let me talk about the scene here.
Yeah.
This was this is just okay. I probably wish I could have done more or less with this. I don't know. It's just, I don't know how good I am here. I love the tie.
I think it's fun. I think
I like how it ends too. That's not a denial. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
That's. I think. I don't. I think that's probably not in the script. I don't know if it is. It is. I don't remember if I said that ever.
Yeah.
Great suit. I was like that was. No, that's supposed to be Koch. You know?
Yeah, Koch.
Because he was at the time. What was I talking?
We're talking about the Continental.
Oh, the Concorde.
Or the
Concorde.
Well, here's what happens is that the flight was, that scene was pushed back until the very end before Christmas. And I get a call, and they said, hey, Robert, we may shoot this scene tomorrow, so you might get out early. So I was checking out flights, and now remember, I wanted to fly back on the Concorde again.
Of course, sure.
But one of the options, we got out early and we flew to the scene, was Pan Am 107. Pan Am 007, the Lockerbie flight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was it didn't happen.
No.
I don't think that had to be ad-libbed. That wasn't in the script.
Is King of the Wicker People ad-libbed?
Oh, come on.
This set is also amazing.
was
It's
so
huge.
cool. It was
It's
so
so big.
And they brought it back for The Flash. Remember that they walked through this room?
That is
The
true.
audience got very excited.
Yeah.
Oh, it's good. When I was watching this recently, it struck me, and I was watching it for fun, not because of this, by the way. I watched it every
King of the
couple of
Wicker
months.
People.
You guys look so similar in this scene.
You and
Robert
Keith-
Wuhl, Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Look very, very similar.
Well,
Right.
right there.
I'll take that compliment.
Yeah.
You could be Batman.
Was there ever talk on set of you being Batman, Robert?
No.
Just
not by
telling-
anybody who's sane.
Telling Keaton to get on a horse. And then
There's a famous actor named Alexander Knox.
Yeah.
He actually was nominated for an Oscar. He played Wilson. You'd recognize him from old movies.
Oh, interesting. Was that where the name came from, do you think?
I have no idea
Yeah.
where the name came from.
You were...
What was interesting about this, too, is the original writer, Warren Scarron, who wrote the original... No.
Sam Hamm, right?
Sam Hamm wrote
Yeah.
the original script, which was... When I read it, I said, this is going to work.
Mm-hmm.
When I read it, I go, this is going to work. There wasn't a doubt in my mind that it was going to work. That they had the right people, the right director, and then they brought in Warren Scarron for whatever reason, and he did a great job to punch it up. Then, towards the end of the movie, he comes back because they rewrite the third act, and that was like, what?
You were supposed to die, right?
Yep.
Now, was that all the way you were filming thinking you're going to die and that
No, I
changed,
found
or-
out I wasn't going to die when I first got there.
Oh, okay.
what a surprise.
But I did anyway, so it didn't make a difference. I might as well have.
Well, there's a book out called Batman Resurrection that just came out this year that takes place right after this.
Yeah.
And it's from your point of view at the beginning of the book.
That's good.
You're in it a lot.
There you go.
Your
What happened to the movie that wasn't in?
I'm going to get it
Here it
going.
was. I was hoping it was going to be, Batman, the annuity.
Yes. We've
The
talked.
Grant line is in the script. Can I have a Grant?
Oh, sure.
That's Sam Hamm. I think, or Warren. I don't know which one it is. Warren dies shortly afterwards. It's
wow.
unbelievable.
Oh,
Good
interesting.
guy.
Sam is still around,
Bruce
I
Vane,
think,
I
right?
think, is an ad-lib line. I'm sure
Bruce
it
Vane is
Yeah.
great.
I'm sure it is.
How did your first acting thing come about? We've talked a lot, and I don't know if we've ever talked about
My
this.
first acting thing.
Like moving from stand-up to acting. How,
Well,
how did that happen?
I was a drama student. I mean, it was like
Yeah.
I had background, at the University of Houston. I had Dennis Quaid as my classmate.
Oh, wow.
Brett Spiner,
Oh.
Brett Cullen. I mean, I had an acting background, so it was not difficult for me for that.
Yeah.
I knew I had a great acting teacher. That was, and then I auditioned for Hollywood Nights, except I did all improvs anyway for Hollywood Nights.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're just getting pulled into the movie.
I know. It's a good movie.
It is, it's such a, like I said, the first hour is phenomenal.
Yeah. Have you seen Jack since this movie at all?
Yeah, not much lately.
Yeah.
Nobody's seen Jack
No,
much
of
lately.
course. He was at SNL a couple
Yeah,
weeks ago.
yeah.
It was nice to see him there.
Right.
There's nobody like Jack. Jack
Yeah.
is so special.
What's your favorite Jack performance?
Boy, it's a lot.
What's yours,
I mean,
Brian?
Cuckoo's
Joker.
Nest is Chinatown.
Chinatown.
Chinatown
Yeah.
is, Jesus, there's a few good men. He's really great in those scenes. You forget how good he is in this.
Yeah. And also, I mean, acting with all the prosthetics on is
Right.
not easy, I'm sure.
Actually, it kind of gets into character. I mean, Laurence Olivier always wore something. He always had a phony nose or something. He liked it.
How do you get into character?
Well, depends on...
We're getting real deep. We're getting into the nitty-gritty here.
And probably much deeper than I've ever acted.
Yeah.
How do I get into character? You do your research. You do... you read the script over and over. You read the text. What are people saying about... What does the character say? What do other people say about you? That's a good question. Know your lines. That's number one. I believe that with, Toole and all these people. The British actors, that's the first thing. Know your lines.
Is Jack the kind of guy that you can ask questions and he'll like freely answer them?
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's cool. It's cool when you watch this too because he is present. He is enjoying the movie and adding to it. He's not just showing up.
For sure. Which I think a lot of people maybe would have done.
Right. And as especially lately as superhero movies go on, it's like, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And you show up and promote it.
I haven't seen any of them, so I don't know.
I think you're all right.
I'm not a sci-fi fan, or a fan, with rare exceptions.
Yeah.
With exceptions.
What?
I saw the first Iron Man.
Uh-huh.
I saw... I haven't seen any of the... have I seen the... Yeah, I've seen some of the Dark Knight stuff. It's a different generation. It's a different... What a shot.
I know.
Yeah.
What a shot for him to come down there. Now, a lot of the second unit stuff is done by McDonald, I think the guy's name is, the second unit director. He's an action guy. No one had seen a bat suit like this before, a car like this before,
How he couldn't like move his head in that, right? That was
I
the
don't
thing.
think so. I don't
it was like
think
his
so. I
neck
forget
was
it,
very,
in the first movie.
yeah.
He worked it out.
No, they did. I think they did for the next movies or something like that. They did recreate the costume.
I mean, you can just one of the rare movies where all of the money that was spent on this movie is on the screen.
Yeah, I mean, you get the green stuff coming out.
Yeah, and just like multi-layer sets and like it's
all there. It's
Yeah.
it's not added later. It's all right there.
But you can just see, these could all be panels in a comic book.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So good. Trailer moment right there.
Yeah.
Now, the trailer was rushed out, right? Like they put it out with was
It
only
was out for Christmas?
Yeah, it was early,
And we hadn't stopped shooting yet.
Oh wow.
and the music didn't come until the very end. It was just
music is a whole the music is a whole story in itself.
We got time.
Well, I mean, Danny Elfman was going to do the score. I mean, that's which is people forget how great a score this is.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't get any. The only nomination I think we got was for like production design or anything like that.
Did you get to go see them record the score at all?
No.
Yeah. Is that something that interests you?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's any blowback for the score, like because he made it so grand and different. And it works, but people are scared.
That wasn't Tim's concern.
Yeah.
What was Tim's concern?
Prince.
Oh,
yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Patrick,
It
and I
wasn't
texted
Prince
about this.
himself. It was a song.
Sure.
It was like, why are we having Prince songs in this?
Yeah.
And that was
I was talking about that
was
last
a
night.
mandate. That was a mandate because Warner Brothers had just done Purple Rain, and it was an enormous hit. And they had Prince under contract, and they said, "We're going to get an album. We're going to get all this stuff out of this," and he had to shoehorn these songs in, and and he did not like that. He was not, but they worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they sold a lot of
he
records.
made it
and,
work.
yeah.
Now, I'll tell you a caveat that I just found out only about 2 or 3 years ago. I'm on this Prince soundtrack. I'm in it. They sampled my voice, and I didn't know this. So all I'm thinking is residuals.
Hello. Yeah.
It's like Prince residuals. And I've never gotten a hold of ASCAP to ask them. I got to believe I signed my life away.
Sure.
I'm sure I signed my life away for this.
Yeah.
Are there Knox toys?
No.
Oh man. Would you like me to make you one?
Nah, thank you. Thank you.
What was the call like when you came back for the TV show? The
Supergirl. For
Remember
Crisis on Infinite
Yeah,
Earth.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was there for one day.
Yeah, was that exciting for you? Did that feel
Well,
good
what
that they
happened
wanted
was
you?
I had done a Comic-Con
Mm-hmm.
up in Connecticut,
Mm-hmm.
and I think he was the guy who ran it was friendly with the guy who's the producer of the show.
Yeah.
And they asked me to, say, hey, would you want to do this thing? Yeah, sure. It was Seattle, so it's easy back and forth one
Yeah.
day.
That means that this universe is dead, by the way, because that universe died in Supergirl.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah, so don't get used to it.
Oh, wow.
Earth 89 is what they called it. I know other fun facts.
You know a lot about this. Yeah.
Well, this movie, Patrick, how old were you when it came out?
I was not born when this came out.
What year were you born?
I was born 92.
Wow.
I know. I'm very sorry.
I went to this movie on my own. Kids were shaving the Bat logo into their head like the month before the movie came out. Everyone had a Joker or Batman T-shirt on at school. Like nobody wasn't excited about this movie.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't even remember. Let me see. What's this scene? I don't even remember.
So you didn't batch shoot all the scenes in this because you came back for that other one. These weren't all back to back. I would have assumed it would have been the same day or something.
We didn't?
Well, you said you came back for the other scene.
I
With
came
her.
back for these scenes.
Oh,
the
these
scenes. The
scenes.
scenes that are in the newspaper office.
Oh,
I came
okay.
back for, I believe.
Oh, okay.
But especially the scene with her when she's not in. But they were all with her in there.
Yeah.
It's ominous that he invited her to his house and then locked the gate. See, she'd have more fun with Knox if she went out with him.
I agree.
Yeah, she went for the money. Can't blame her.
Did you come up with the backstory for Knox, or you just go with what's on the page?
I may have. I don't remember much.
Yeah.
Patrick, did you come up with a backstory for Knox that you want to share with
Yeah,
us?
he's a great guy.
Uh-huh.
Loves his mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually gets the Pulitzer. He does in my backstory.
Did he live in Gotham all his life?
No, he got out.
Oh,
He got out. He was
Wow.
happy.
Yeah, it was
he
me.
needed to get
good
out.
for him.
So I got the Pulitzer. Me and Kendrick Lamar. Okay.
Same year too. That was the thing. You were both at the ceremony
For the
together.
same thing.
What's the biggest difference besides money for you working on a giant set like this and a smaller movie?
Everything. I mean,
Yeah.
the production values, the amount of time you have to shoot,
Mm-hmm.
the amount of people, the size of the crew,
Yeah.
the size of catering, and I like catering there. They always had these tea breaks. They come with the tea trolley.
Oh, sure.
Oh, wow.
British. I loved it. Oh, I had this great time.
Were they long days or
Yeah.
because I've heard the British crews
They
like
have
have
an
very
official-
specific hours that they
Yeah,
Now
they
anyway,
were still
they do.
long. I mean, they were
Yeah.
long days, but they might have been the same time.
Yeah.
He needs Alfred to help close the deal with Kim Basinger.
I mean,
He was doing terrible until he hung out with Alfred.
Alfred's your wingman.
I get it.
The thing that, and of course, I think most things are generational. I think just about everything in life is generational. The thing about the Batman, well, at least this movie, and say the Dark Knight series, is that although I say this is dark, it's not as dark as the Dark Knight, but I find fun in this movie. I do not find fun
Yeah.
in the Dark Knight series at all. There's no fun. I mean, Jack is fun.
Yeah.
The other guys are not. Heath Ledger's
They're
not
scary.
fun.
Yeah, he's scary.
He's great.
Yeah.
But he's great. But it's fun.
Yeah.
And now, but hell, again, to another generation, a younger generation, they may find Jack a little corny.
Sure.
They find it a little bit. Well, that's silly. Well, but it is a comic book. It is. But that's my thing. It's like, and the fact that they're. This will be anathema to the Dark Knight fans. They're much too fucking long.
They are long.
They're
hours,
too
yeah.
long.
Yeah.
Do you know at one point I heard that they offered Christopher Nolan on the Two-Faced one, whatever one that one was.
Dark Knight. Yeah.
It was 2 hours and 45 minutes, I believe, or 2 hours and 40 minutes. And they offered him, they said, if you take out the Two-Face story, we've got 40 minutes of the next Batman in the can.
Oh, wow.
In the can.
Wow.
And plus, we will make so much more money, as will you, because we'll be able to have another showing every day, because the movie's going to be almost an hour shorter. And, he didn't do it.
But you would think that more studios would push for that more.
I'm sure they push for it.
I know.
But he had Final Cut, like all these directors. Like all these movies are too long.
But there's so many Marvel
Every
movies
movie I go to see is too long.
Yeah.
Every single, because a lot of these directors have this Final Cut thing.
Sure. You directed some Arliss, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
When did you think, I think I can direct? When was
I've
wanted to?
I've always thought I could direct.
Yeah.
Always.
What was the biggest challenge when you first started doing it?
Getting the job.
Yeah.
Once you get the gig, you do it.
Yeah.
This is
the unveiling.
I like this a lot.
Yeah. Those tools on his table
Uh-huh.
are the same tools that Steve Martin has in Little Shop of Horrors as the
Oh, really?
as his dentist tool. Yeah. They probably shot it in the same
Yeah.
So it's all part of my fan fiction that they take place in the same universe.
I mean, those studios are so historic, and so many insane things have been filmed there. Were you guys on the biggest sound stages that they had?
Of course, we took
They
over
were
the whole studio.
They
We
were
took
the
over the
bomb
whole
stages.
thing.
Yeah.
I mean, Batman's big.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they moved the second one to Los Angeles, I want to say.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think it was
the only one that was shot in London.
Yeah.
That was another thing. When I first got the script, they're shooting in London. I said, "Oh boy."
Yeah.
This was manna from heaven. During this, I show up at the one of the just before shooting, and I had I did, you do stupid things in your life. Well, I had done stupid here, really stupid. I don't want to step on this scene because I was hanging out. Michael keeps to himself, but I was hanging out with Peters and Canton. Mostly because I had the weed. Now, this was great to shoot.
Look at that set. Jesus.
Yeah, the matte painting in the back.
It's just an office, and he turned it into this giant, beautiful set.
This was really great.
Okay, so you had the weed.
Yeah, but I do want to watch
Okay,
this.
let's watch the scene.
Now, this is the first reveal. This is the first reveal. So you're seeing now. Remember, people have seen it because of the trailer.
Of course. What is your reaction when you see him on set in that makeup?
Oh, it's cool. It's just so cool. Well, I'd seen it before. This is just I've already been there watching. This was great. This was
really good writing too.
This was
It's also just like two cool actors together, which is just...
It's great. You don't even need the audio, which, of course, is everything. But
yes.
Here comes the hat.
But the nice thing about it is, this scene could be in any other movie, too. It doesn't have to be a Batman scene.
Right.
This is great.
The crowd went nuts.
Ugh.
I mean, he can chew it up better than anybody, and make it real. You can,
Also, Jack Palance must be one of the people who has died the most on screen. He must be in the top 10.
I'm sure he's having a blast.
Yeah,
This was a... Oh, so anyway, so so everybody's hanging out with me. So I'd go over to, we would go to Jack's, place at the Connaught Hotel, which was great because it was the night, I remember it was the night that Robert Evans, had gotten indicted for the Cotton Club murders.
Oh my gosh.
And you got to remember, I knew Bob Evans. I knew him actually more afterwards, I think. Yeah, I'd met him after. I became friendly afterwards. But that's Jack's, maybe his closest friend.
Of course.
And he gave him his biggest breaks. So he's on the phone cross Atlantic to Bob, and he says, "Bobby, if you need anything, I'm there for you." And in truth, he wound up buying his house and giving it back to him because of money. But Jack was I won't say who. That's not fair. The actor who told me how to get stuff over there shall remain nameless. What he said to me one time is, "What you do, Bobby, is you mail a fan letter to yourself saying you don't know me, but here's a little something to keep you going. That way, if they stop you, go, I don't know who the fuck this guy is." But I got to tell you, pretty stupid on my part. Although it worked.
Yeah. You all had fun. It's okay.
Where do they get a load of me? I don't know. He might have ad-libbed that.
I mean, again, a trailer line.
It sounds like him.
That's the last moment in the trailer.
Yeah.
No, he starts whistling, doesn't he? Hoo-hoo or something like that there.
Yeah.
He just looks insane.
He does his own soundtrack at that point. Yeah. Patrick, you might have been conceived to this movie.
No, it would have been a few years ahead.
No, and it's on VHS.
Oh, yeah, sure.
When the VHS came out, it was in every store. It was in supermarkets. It was.
No, it was great. In fact,
Everyone
I did a whole thing. They had me over at Warner Brothers to meet with the head of Blockbuster, and that's where I first met Wayne Huizinga. And because Blockbuster, they were getting this out pretty quick.
Yeah.
And I had a lifelong relationship with Wayne Huizinga, who actually backed the movie I directed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He was a great guy.
Yeah, I guess this is pretty early in the Blockbuster era, and the you can buy VHS.
This was one of the first sell-through movies for sure.
Yeah.
Other than Disney ones.
Yeah, they had early ones like Patton was always on there.
Yeah.
Because this is because videos start coming in the mid '80s, but this is like '88, '89, right?
89, yeah. I think it came out in September, October on VHS. I think it was in theaters until then. I saw it all summer. I saw it 4 or 5 times all summer.
When did it get into the theaters?
June 23rd, 1989.
So yeah, it had to be around. It had to be before Christmas time, I think.
Yeah. Oh, it was the big. Yeah, that was the commercial. They put a little cape on the VHS. Yeah, I'm a fan.
But up to that point, a lot of those VHSs would cost like $75 if you were going to buy them for yourself. So I imagine this is probably one of the first ones that was not. Was reasonable for a average household.
Because every household had it.
Yeah.
This is a great scene.
I mean, this shot is so cool.
This is such a cool shot.
I think this is the darkest the movie gets in terms of what happens to the people in it. It's beautiful.
That guy on the left, right there,
Albert Einstein,
is in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. He's the librarian in Venice who is stamping the books.
And that guy's in Terms of Endearment.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the casting on this is really.
Remember, they all have to do Yank accents.
Yeah.
These are all Brits.
Yeah.
This is great. I like this. This is pure comic book.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
And then is Dick Tracy 1990?
Dick Tracy comes right after this.
Yeah. And they ape a lot from you guys.
Well, but they're best friends. I mean,
yeah.
And I get a call one day from Warren Beatty.
Uh-huh.
Oh, this is great. There'll be a hot time in the old town tonight. Which is a song that was actually written in, I don't know, in the 1800s. It's a pop song that was written right after the Chicago fire. It was like,
wow.
That's what it's about. There'll be a hot time in the old town tonight.
Wow.
What's interesting is, so I get a call one day from, and I go, hello. He goes, Robert Wuhl, please. I go, he goes, this is Warren Beatty, the actor. Right, as opposed to, Warren Beatty, the gynecologist. And I said, yeah, how you doing, Warren? It's like when we spoke. And he goes, he's doing and he's doing Dick Tracy, and he's thinking about hiring Sean Young. He said, what do you think of Sean Young? And I go, well, she's a good actress. Mm-hmm. Did you talk to Jack? He goes, well, I think she's got some. I go, well, you're the man. So
yeah. Wow.
She might have been cast in that too for a while.
Went with Glenn Headley, right, in the final.
Yeah,
one?
it's probably the right.
Yeah, but that movie, especially the marketing was completely taken from Batman, and the score sounded.
Yeah,
like
and even
Batman.
down to the makeup. The makeup is obviously
sure.
So much are my number one guy. I remember that. He's doing the palance there.
Tracy Walter's pretty great too.
Tracy's great. Tracy's in every Jack Nicholson movie.
Really?
You can't find a Jack Nicholson movie without Tracy Walter.
Wow.
Really difficult.
Before
He puts
before
him in
this,
every movie.
like they had worked together before
Oh,
this,
yeah.
or this was the okay.
I wonder where they met. That's so
know.
smart. Now he just talks to the corpse. It's
Yeah,
such good decisions in this movie.
we had talked the last time I saw you. You were talking about the fire. Was it in Pennsylvania? The like huge fire that people didn't.
Well, that's the same night. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
in
Can you just
Peshtigo.
talk about that, 'cause it's
it was in
interesting.
Peshtigo, Wisconsin. I forgot the date, but it's an enormous fire. It's the biggest fire in our country's history. I mean, it was so big. It was I think twice the size of the state of Rhode Island.
It's crazy.
It killed over, I think, 2,000 people or something like that, and it was enormous. It's to this day, it's the biggest fire and loss of life in American history from a fire, and nobody knows about it because this very same night, 150 miles south was the Chicago fire, and which was only 20 square blocks, and it killed like 200 people.
Crazy.
But Chicago's a major media market,
course.
and it gave birth to that song.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Late last night when we were all in bed, old lady Leary lit a lantern in the shed. When the cow kicked it over, he looked at her and said, "There'll be a hot time in the old cow tonight."
Insane.
Yeah, I'm a history guy. I like that.
What's your favorite period in history to read about, to learn about? Because you've done the assume the positions. You've done, you are famously a history guy.
I'm pretty much a person who likes where I'm living now.
Yeah.
Everybody's, I'd like to go back in time, and I say, yeah, really? I mean, indoor plumbing means a lot to me. It's just like people forget. Oh, I'd love to live back then. Really? You don't want to go out in the back there? Now, there's certain things I would have liked to have. I would have liked to have been in New York in the 50s, so I could have gone to Ebbets Field and those and the Giants and the Yankees back then, because I'm a baseball fan. I liked. I think this is the only scene I actually was in the same scene with Jack. In fact, by the way, this is the only costume that Bob Ringwood designed that she wore.
It's really good.
Oh, wow.
I believe, is this the scene on the steps coming up?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's coming up.
Am I in this scene? I remember
Yeah,
being.
you are.
Yeah.
I'm in there briefly, and then Jack shows up. That's the only scene when we're not really in the scene together.
I was thinking about this last night. You're one of the only actors in it that has a scene with everyone.
Yeah, I'm really not in the scene with Jack. I mean,
You're present for that shooting. And in the script, I'm working on you and Jack. You have a lot of scenes together.
Okay. Yeah, Michael's awfully good. By this time, do you think anybody is thinking of Mr. Mom?
No, absolutely
no,
not.
it's
Yeah.
gone.
Enough time
It's
has passed.
gone.
Yeah.
In fact, it's probably gone by the time the trailer's out and
Yeah.
you see him and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
That
But it
happens a lot.
could have been Steve Martin. It could have been Bill Murray. It could have been Chevy Chase.
Can you imagine a Chevy Chase Batman?
No, I can't.
Oh, man.
You're very, very swarmy.
Knowing how executives things, I could.
Yeah, yeah.
And I remember him saying, and I went, "Wow, yeah."
Is there anyone that you think would have worked out of that group?
Those three?
Yeah. Who do you think would have been the best out of those three?
We got Bill Murray, Chevy Chase, or
Steve Martin.
Oh, I know who I would go with.
Like, they're all so different. I think it's Murray. I think it's
because there's got to
Murray.
be a sense of crazy to him.
Well, Murray's darker than the
Yeah.
other guys.
Yeah.
But
There you are.
okay, that's right. I'm in this scene.
But the Bill Murray one, Eddie Murphy was going to be Robin.
I mean, that's
what they played with
such
at one
a
point.
different movie.
Would I see it? Maybe.
Yeah, of course you would have.
Did I keep this jacket, that coat? Did I keep that?
Oh, man.
Robert, you're wearing it right now.
I may have. I try to keep as much as I could, within reason.
Oh, did you steal anything really good?
Did I steal anything?
Yeah.
No,
Like
but I would ask.
Batarang or-
So this would have been the 1990 Academy Awards,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Which you wrote on, right? I looked it up
I
last
think
night.
I did.
According to Wikipedia, you
I
did.
think I did, yeah.
That's
What?
why all the jokes are about Knox.
I want to talk about writing on the Academy Awards for a little bit. How difficult is that? Do you not want to offend people? Do you want to offend people? What is your take when you're writing on something like that?
I can only speak to my
Yeah.
experiences because, and that of course reflects that of the host. And this was Billy. Now Billy and I had done the Grammys for a couple of years beforehand, and it was just the two of. Geez, I forget this scene at all. Oh, that's right, Jack's here, but I don't have any lines or anything with Jack. Let me say this. I remember he did. I think he might have waved to me at the end of the scene. This was. It's your Uncle Bingo. Time the picture. Oh, great. Is truly mightier than sword. I remember. He's so good in this.
Look at the visuals too.
Well, this is Tim. This is, like I said, every superhero, DC, Marvel, they should all give him a piece of the pie.
I should just say, in case people are hearing stuff.
See, where am I in there?
The police are coming for us.
Yeah, the studio that we are in, we got here and there was a window missing. So we are hearing the outside of Westwood, California right now.
Getting back to the Oscars.
Yes.
So it's Billy. So knowing Billy's sensibilities, you had to do that. So he's not going to. He's going to take shots, but he's not going to. And in fact, we caught shit because I think it was the president or premier of Italy was indicted for some crooked, corrupt thing, and we made a joke about it. And boy, we caught shit for that. And the guy was indicted.
Yeah. That feels like that should be the easiest thing to make a joke about.
No. We got.
Wow. Do you think they're easy to write on, or?
Well, no, nothing's easy.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, is that now, unlike, for example, I didn't count the number of writers on the Oscars the other night. I'm guessing there's.
I think it was like 15, probably.
15.
Yeah.
With when it was Billy, it was me and Billy.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Now, well, that's not fair. We wrote all that. There were 4 other writers, 4 other writers, but they weren't writing any of Billy's stuff or anything like that. They were writing the straight stuff, and they were great writers.
Yeah.
I mean, now here's the difference. When I wrote the Oscars the first year, our writing staff was the guys writing the straight stuff because they took it more seriously back then. It was Ernst Lehman, Mel Shavelson, Hal Kanner. Now, let me explain to you who these 3 guys are. Hal Kanner was one of the great roast masters and he wrote a lot of Bob Hope stuff. Mel Shavelson was a writer-director who also did Bob Hope stuff, everything from the 7 Little Foys to, he wrote some, to Cast a Giant Shadow about the beginning of Israel and everything with Kirk Douglas. And the other one, Ernst Lehman. Okay, Ernst Lehman is one of the, if you have 5 screenwriters in the history of Hollywood, he's on that list. Ernst Lehman wrote Sweet Smell of Success, King and I, West Side Story, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, Executive Suite, Sound of Music.
Yeah.
He's written, he's the guy, North by Northwest.
Oh my God.
So I wanted to talk with him about Hitchcock, and nobody else paid him the time of day.
Yeah.
And this was Ernst Lehman. I mean, do you realize who it's like, and he was cool. He was very cool, and he talked about, Hitchcock and everything. But, it's like, so there was those 4, and a woman, Sheila Benson, who, because Gil Cates, the producer, always wanted a theme, and this was the year of the woman. He would have something like.
So get the one in there.
Right, no, so he would have something, he would have a hookup to the space shuttle.
Oh, yeah.
So he always had a theme. He was good about that.
But that's very much
But
like
it was just me and Billy
Yeah.
the first year. The next year, it was me, Billy, and we had a Bruce Valanche.
Sure.
And Mark Shaman, we would do these songs with, But that was always it. That was all we ever had.
But also, if you're going to have anyone, Valanche and Shaman are like pretty good guys to have in there.
I would work with Bruce beforehand.
Yeah.
No, it was fun. I mean, and then we would write out everything up front, and then we would have a list of our quote spontaneous ad libs.
Sure.
Look at you.
Yeah, look, no style. Huh? Okay.
But that does feel a lot like old guard versus new guard.
Yeah, sure.
Those guys are.
Well, these
they've
guys
been
don't
around
have a
forever.
staff, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's. And then it turned out okay. We did well.
Yeah.
Then you hope for something. But the one thing we learned, and I will stick by this to the entire my dying day, and why the show's, you do your stuff up front, and then get out of the way.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Don't do any bits. Mm-hmm. Don't do comedy. We were both in sync. This is Billy's show. This is not the Billy Crystal show. This is the Academy Awards. This is the Oscars. They're not there to see you. Nobody around the world is there to see you. It's like, do your stuff up front, kick ass, and then get out of the way. Now, again, we'd have one-liners, spontaneous ad-libs, and I would be like Angelo Dundee to his Muhammad Ali, and he'd look at me, and I would go like this. I would give signals. I'd put down one finger, meaning fastball, which means just get to the next person. Keep the show going. Now, when they stop the thing for their bits, and that all these hosts think that, my audience knows. Your audience makes up 0.02% of the Oscar audience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody watches. Nobody knows what you're talking about.
And it's why those shows are 4 hours long.
That's exactly right.
100%.
Conan did a terrific job the other day. He could have cut the song and dance in the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, that added nothing. He says, I'm not going to go long, and he went long.
Sure.
I mean, that added nothing. All the bits in between. I mean, he could have ended with the bit on with Sandler. That was a high spot.
Yeah.
Let's get it going.
Yeah.
That being said, he did a terrific job.
He did. He was great.
He was the best in many years. The only bit that I remember them doing really was the streaming about watching movies in movie theaters, which was okay. That one I was almost okay because of what. But again, your show was an hour too long already.
Yeah. But it is something that people need to see, I think, where it's like, go to the movies, and a lot of people don't do that anymore.
They know they exist.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
It just stops the show.
Yeah.
They're not, and you got to remember something else too. The audience is not with you at that point.
Sure.
Because what's happened is up front, you got to remember what time. If the show starts at 7, like it did back east, okay, this is how long it takes you to get there. You've got to let's back time it. You got to be in your seat by 6:15, 6 o'clock. You got to get to the red carpet by about, let's say 6:50, 5:45, 5:45, maybe 5:30. You've got to get there, so you got to leave at 4:30. Now you got to get your hair and makeup on and get dressed and everything else. So that's going to take 2 hours. So now you're there at 4:30, probably 2:30.
Yeah.
You're looking at 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock maybe. So now you have been there for 6 hours. Now you have not eaten. You have not gone to the bathroom. Okay, so now the show starts. And remember, everybody's excited up front, so you do your stuff up front. But with every category that goes by, 80% of the people in that category have lost.
Sure.
And they're not in a great mood. And the more categories that go by, they want to get out of there. They want to get a drink.
Yeah.
They want to go to the bathroom. They tell them to bring snacks. So you're there. That's why they tell you to bring snacks or something like that. It's like, so you've got all those people. So the energy keeps going down and down. Your jokes aren't going to work as long. So again, keep it going. Gee, I forget all about this scene. I would have forgotten this scene completely. I forgot about this scene. What is this about? It's like Trump selling something here.
Yeah, it's the Smile X part of the movie.
Yeah. So insane.
I forgot about this.
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting is the first Prince song has not come into the movie yet, has it?
No.
It's
not yet.
when he goes into the art gallery,
Yeah.
I think. So he's waited that long. I guarantee you other directors, if they would have forced him, it would have been in the opening titles.
Sure. Yeah, or the credits.
Exactly.
You do one of the
Exactly.
the beginning or the very
It would have
end.
been in the movie by now for
Yeah.
sure.
When
He
the
didn't.
family passes in the beginning, you hear one on a boombox for a second.
Oh, really?
Because he had to put one in, and that's how he worked
very
around
funny.
it. Was the future. It was the first song on
Yeah.
the soundtrack.
Okay, see, I didn't know that.
Sorry.
But you of course hosted the Oscars too.
Well, come on. I mean, Kevin Costner is doing The Bodyguard. We had just done Bull Durham, and he said, hey, why don't you do a cameo for me?
Yeah.
I said, yeah. We played a host of the Oscars. Okay. And I'm glad I did. The residuals for that are good.
I'm sure. Is this the biggest residuals earner for you?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
But you have a few that play fairly often.
Oh,
still,
Good Morning Vietnam. Good
Yeah.
Morning Vietnam.
Yeah.
Bull Durham.
Bull Durham. For sure.
Cobb is nothing.
Yeah.
Because it's all based on box office.
Sure.
All your residuals are based on box office. I think when Cobb comes, I have to write them a check. And I love Cobb.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
What's your favorite baseball stadium?
Oh, good question.
Wow.
I've been to every one except Tampa Bay.
Okay.
Which is not even there this year.
We went to a Dodgers game together.
That's right.
Yeah. Had a
My
great
favorite baseball stadiums, I would
Thanks for
say
the
right
invite.
now, I'll put about 3 or 4 in the category.
Okay.
Pittsburgh's got the best, maybe the best baseball stadium.
wow.
PNC Park is gorgeous.
How old is that one?
10, 15 years.
Oh, okay.
It is gorgeous. It's on the river. It faces the right way. It faces downtown over the water. It's small. It's intimate, and it's just as good as it gets. San Francisco is another one that's great with the Coke bottle and over the water and stuff like that. From a traditional standpoint, of course, you got Boston and Chicago. Those are the two. And Dodger Stadium.
Yeah.
And Dodger Stadium is a great ballpark. Those ones are great. Camden Yards was the first of the, retro stadiums, and that's a great stadium. But I would say those jump out. There's a lot of good ones. Petco's good. I like Philly Stadium.
I like the Nationals.
Nationals is fine.
Yeah.
I mean, it falls into that category with St. Louis and Washington and Coors and stuff. And they're all somewhat similar.
I also like Citi Field, too.
Citi Field's gotten better because when it first opened, it was a monstrosity. Sure. It was a camel, as I recall. I called it a camel. And a camel, as you know, the definition of a camel is a horse drawn by committee. So that was a camel. You had the Mo Zone that made no sense.
Yeah.
You had the Boston Fenway Green Monster. You remember how tall it was out there and everything? Yes. Because Will Pond he was a big Brooklyn Dodger fan, so he wanted the Brooklyn Dodgers. There was no orange in the stadium.
Yeah.
Do you remember? There was no Mets.
Yeah.
It was all Brooklyn Dodgers. Yeah. Then after about 3 or 4 renovations, it's now become a good ballpark.
I think it's fun. It's like a fun place to go see.
It's a ballpark now.
Yeah.
It's not a. Back then, it was.
I think it's more fun to go to than Yankees.
They're different. Yankee Stadium is like going to an amusement park.
Sure.
It's just like it's.
Yeah.
But I like Yankee Stadium too. Plus, it's so easy for me to get to. I can be at Yankee Stadium, my door to door for 20 minutes.
I lived in Queens, so it was very easy
20
to get
minutes.
to the city.
Yeah. I live on 81st Street, so I can take the subway 4 stops. I'm at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
And I'm going opening day.
Oh, nice.
What's your seat number so fans can look for you?
See you on TV.
No. I don't want anybody having a clean shot.
This is the Flugelheim.
Of course, the classic.
Not to be confused with the Guggenheim. Yeah. It is the Flugelheim.
Another thing I like about these movies versus the Nolan Batman ones. The Nolan Batman ones, at some point, they're just like, this is just New York.
Right.
You're just in New York now. Right. Like, it's fine.
Well, Chicago, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But in the third one, I think you like see the world. The World Trade.
Yeah.
And this one, you're like, no, this is a new city.
Thing.
It's its own thing.
Yep.
Now, this is where the Prince songs come in, right?
Yep.
Yeah. All of these guys look like they're about to get up and dance. They're like, thriller extras.
This is Party Man.
Look, he turns on the boombox strictly to get they sell this thing.
Yeah.
I mean, for somebody who was forced in. By the way, I have that jacket. The crew gifts from Nicholson and John Peters were these jackets.
Oh, wow.
I have it. I still have it, except it's black. It's not purple. And it's pretty great.
They look comfy.
Oh, they were great jackets.
Yeah.
Now that I can fit into it better, but
yeah. He does sell
it. By the way,
then
Jack got pissed off because Peters didn't want to pay for his half of this jacket at the end. I remember that fight going on. But it's funny, I have this jacket and I got a Hollywood Night jacket.
Yeah.
New Bomb Turk.
What are your favorite rap gifts? Like, just in general. Do you like jackets?
Top that one.
Yeah.
That one was great,
But sometimes you get like water bottles and you're like, I don't need another water bottle.
But it depends on the budget of the
course.
film.
I got a baseball hat with rabbit ears.
Oh, from Hop?
Yeah, that I'm never going to wear.
Yeah.
So you can have it if you'd like.
He does really get into this.
He's so great.
Yeah.
He's so great. They did such great replicas that he's thinking they destroyed them.
Yeah.
I wonder what song Burton would have liked to have put in there.
It would have been a
score.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
This joke is so funny. The $1 bill.
Well,
it's so funny.
That sets up
it does come back.
Something they cut out later.
Oh.
I like this.
That when he's giving away the money originally, they wiped the dollar that he's giving away at the end, and it had his face on it.
Oh,
so that when they got rid of that moment.
Well, it's very funny.
It's great.
On its own.
It's great. But he even says right here, my face on the $1 bill.
Yeah.
I mean, Jack is fun.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, in the Dark Knight, they're not fun.
No. Yeah.
They're dangerous. I mean, which is a choice.
It's its own thing.
And like I said, it's generational. It's not right. It's not wrong.
Yeah.
It just is.
Yeah. I mean, that's that scene specifically, he could have been like, I don't want to do this,
Right.
And it would have been understandable if he's like, I don't want to dance the Prince, but he does it, and he.
I don't even know if the song was written yet.
Oh, sure.
I don't think it was written yet.
Yeah.
I mean, they may have had a click track or something else.
Did you ever meet Prince?
I met him at the at the rap party.
Uh-huh.
I met him at another party.
Who have you not met that you wish you got to meet? That was around.
Well,
during that time?
there's a difference between meeting somebody and actually
Of course,
getting
yeah.
to know. I don't know.
Yeah. I like to ask vague questions. You know,
Patrick, do you have an answer?
Like I said, I met Hackman, but not just briefly.
Yeah.
I mean, then there's dead guys,
Of course.
beforehand,
Abe Lincoln. Jesus
Well,
Christ.
not
A
Abe.
whole bunch of guys.
But I'd like, just other guys like Lawton. I would like to.
Yeah.
Richard Dreyfuss and I talk about Lawton. Who would I have liked to have met? That's a really good question.
You think about it.
Billy
yeah.
Wilder I met very briefly when I would love to have talked with Wilder. I saw him once he was speaking, and he was so smart and so funny. And he was talking about the blacklist, and he was talking about the unfriendly 10, and he said, the thing to remember is that only 2 of them are talented. The other 8 were just unfriendly.
I mean, you came here at a time when all those guys were still around, which was
at
nice,
the end. Wilder was at the end.
Sure.
Yeah.
But you could run into a guy and be like, "Oh wow, you are a big deal,
Right.
and you're 90 years old now."
Yeah, you do, but I don't know how much. Even film students now, they don't know anything. I mean, you mentioned William Wyler. I guarantee you they wouldn't know who William Wyler was in 1,000 years. And he's the first recipient of the AFI Lifetime Achievement Award.
Yeah.
He's the very first.
Yeah.
And he did. He directed everything from The Big Country to Ben-Hur to not the women, but he's got like 50 the best years of our lives and. Roman Holiday. I mean, he's got like about 20 Oscar nominations. They don't know who he is.
Well, that's with so much more stuff coming out now, it sort of pushes some of the older stuff out, which is a bummer.
Because they don't teach it.
No,
also,
I know. Yeah.
They don't teach it.
Yeah.
They'll teach Tarantino.
Yeah.
Who I like.
Yeah.
But he makes the same movie over and over again. But I love him.
Yeah.
If he mentions me in his book.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
For Bull Durham or for
no, we went to dinner one night. It was after the New York Critics Awards, and he was talking about Bullet, which he thinks is one of his great movies of all time. And I said, really? I said, Bullet? I go, all I know is it's something. I go, what's the plot of Bullet? I go, it's something about Robert Vaughn's in it, and he writes that in the book. Robert Wuhl says he did something, and that's the truth. I mean, I remember, I love Tarantino, love him, but his taste is B movies.
Of course.
His taste is, and fine to teach him. I mean, he is pop, but I'd like to talk Tarantino now because, you know where he lives, right?
Mm-mm. Oh, he lives in
Israel.
Tel Aviv.
Yeah.
He lives in Tel Aviv.
Yeah.
And he talks about, that interests me.
Yeah.
But I mean, so many filmmakers. The problem is somebody said to me, goes, and he said it once, I remember him saying, Americans used to be the best storytellers in the world. Now they're the worst. They're not storytellers, they're shooters. They shoot, they don't tell a story. You watch the old movies, they knew how to tell a story.
Of course.
I've been watching a lot of old movies with my wife. We watch something every night. And we watched Judgment at Nuremberg the other night.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, good movie.
It's great.
Boys, Montgomery Clift. Everybody's good. And Montgomery and Shell and Judy Garland's great in it. She's great.
Oh, yeah.
She was nominated that year, too. They both...
I don't think I knew that.
It was her first movie in like 5 years after A Star Is Born.
Wow.
And they were worried about her showing up between her and Montgomery Clift. I mean, they were walking a line there. But they're both so great in the movie.
Yeah.
And but I was watching. My wife's gotten into. My wife, who was to the left of Lenin. Okay, you have to know this. My wife is a huge lefty, right? And but she's gotten into now. She's having health problems now, so she's in bed a lot watching it, and she's gotten into westerns, old westerns.
Yeah.
She watches every episode of Bonanza, every episode of Gunsmoke, every old Wanted Dead or Alive with McQueen.
Yeah.
And we watch these old westerns, like The Westerner with Gary Cooper, and that's a William Wyler movie.
Sure.
And Walter Brennan, and she's really gotten into, of all things, John Wayne.
Interesting.
Because he is so underappreciated as an actor.
Yeah.
He is so... We watched now... if I have 10 movies I'm taking with me on an island, Man Who Shot Liberty Valance is one of them.
Yeah.
It is such a great movie. And he's great in it, as he is in The Searchers and as he is in The Shootist.
Yeah.
and you believe them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, like anything else, the movies at the end of it, all these actors, they suck. All of them. They all make these, they got to get a paycheck or whatever, But this was so cool. The car was cool. Remember the first time that came on the set, everybody said, is it going to work? And it's funny because they're only driving about 10, 15 miles an hour. So.
Yeah. I lived on Wall Street for a year in New York because it was near my school and it was just like a convenient place to work. And it was a convenient place to live. And it was the year that they were filming Dark Knight Rises in New York City. And they shoot the big end fight on Wall Street.
Yeah.
And I came home very early one morning. It was like 6 a.m. I don't remember what I was doing. But I came home and the street in front of my building was blocked off. And I was like, I just want to get in my building. Why can't I get in my building? And I looked up and realized it was because the Batmobile and Christopher Nolan were right in front of the door. And they were like holding the door shut.
That's a reason to not
For
be able
sure,
to get home.
but it's just such a jarring thing to see a Batmobile in real life, and that is something I will never forget,
I'm trying to remember where's the line come? Where does he get those wonderful toys?
Right when they ran out of the museum.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure. I don't know if that was a scripted line or not. I don't remember. But anyway, with John Wayne, the thing about John Wayne's so interesting, I find. It was a great biography written about him by, I forgot who it was. Might have been Neil Gabler. Great. The thing about Wayne is he's so different than all those other arch conservatives in that Wayne, while being a conservative, no doubt, he respected you if you stood up for your beliefs and talked. In that documentary that CNN had, Jimmy Carter, America's first rock and roll president. He's at the inauguration, and
weird.
And Paul Simon says, "I'm in the inauguration, and I'm in the wings, and I realize I'm standing next to John Wayne."
Huh?
I go, "What is he doing here?" And Wayne comes out, and the first thing he says, "I'll bet you're surprised to see me here." He says, "I represent the loyal opposition." Accent on the word loyal, which he was a difference. Like in the movie Trumbo, they have a thing where what's his name does a mea culpa, Edward G. Robinson, and Hedda Hopper still wants to crucify him, and he says, "No, Hopper, I gave him my word." He goes, "What are you going to do to me?" Now, his best friend, Ward Bond, is a different story. He was dangerous, bad guy.
Yes.
Bad guy. Wayne was different. Wayne said, he goes, "Look, the two women I got along best with were Geraldine Page, who was a huge lefty."
Yeah.
He said, and she worked with me, and she got an Oscar nomination. And the other one was Katharine Hepburn, who's another huge lefty, and we became best friends.
Wow.
You see, Wayne's different.
Yeah.
Wayne is,
What an interesting...
and he is a conservative. Don't get me wrong.
Of course. Watching him and Katharine Hepburn must have been, that's a fascinating conversation.
Well, so that's funny. Oh, really? That had to be, I wonder if that was an ad lib Michael put in, because her reaction is weak. And if she had time to think about it,
This is a beautiful movie.
I know.
Like every
well,
still
that's
can be a painting.
Anton First.
Yeah.
I mean, this was the brilliance of this guy, this genius.
Yeah.
But boy, he had demons, a lot of drugs, and he wound up jumping off a roof of a building.
So sad.
Just a year or two later.
Yeah.
Ringwood designed the bat suit and all the costumes. The great thing was he vented on Ringwood liked me a lot, and he vented against Kim Basinger all the time because he kept him waiting 2.5 hours one time and then 3 hours another time. He did not like her. So, like I said, she had a lot of leverage.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to get a suit made from. I figured I'm going to get a bespoke suit in Savile Row. So I asked Bob, and he sent me over to where they were doing Jack's suit, a place called Tommy Nutter's, who was the designer, the hip designer. He did Elton John suits.
Oh, wow.
He did everybody's suits. And I have to this day, except this amazing suit, except because it was in a closet so long, there are moth holes in it. And I tried to get it.
Kind of patched
it's
or something.
gorgeous. Yeah, I did. It's not quite.
It's not the same.
There's too many of them, I think. But and a top coat, and he put it on. So I said, he put it on the budget. I never paid for it.
Oh, wow.
Excellent.
Yeah, I mean, he was a great guy to me.
That's why the movie cost $200 million.
There you go. No, it didn't cost $200, but it should. Although in today's numbers, I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
It was, I think, started at 30, ended at 48.
Well, it was the most expensive movie up to that time.
Right.
30 to 48 is a big jump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what they're admitting to.
Yeah, it says budget
By the way,
48.
that's what they're admitting to.
Yes, of course.
Would they say how much?
48 is what
Yeah,
it
yeah,
says.
that's what they're admitting to.
Yeah.
Box office 411,
Which
which now is
Yep.
so much. Yeah, then was so
and
much too.
this year for movies was incredible.
Yeah.
There was so much
Now,
competition.
who parks
this
a car
summer.
like that?
And those are real bats. The matte paintings in this movie are really
Yeah, they really
amazing
are.
too.
They really are.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot to like. Now, how long are we into this movie right now?
I think we're probably 20 minutes left is my guess.
Oh no, we got a little more than that.
Do we?
Yeah, got about a half hour left.
Okay. But like I said, the first hour,
Yeah.
phenomenal. Now we're starting to slow down just
Yeah,
a
yeah.
tad. Now, what happened here is that this movie wasn't supposed to end this way, with this fight at the steeple and everything
Oh,
else.
yes.
What happened was, I forgot how it was supposed to end. I think it was the parade. It was the parade, and the fight broke out. Bada bing. What happened was John Peters and Jack Nicholson one night go to see Phantom of the Opera. And Jack says to John, at the fight at the end, that's the way we should end the movie. John goes, you're right. Being a good producer, you always
Yeah.
say, you're right, star.
Yeah.
You know, it's like what Scorsese does with DiCaprio. Whatever you say, Leo.
Sure.
You know, you want to ruin that movie, The Flowers of the August Moon, by changing parts. And so we have to give you this part that is a minor part. You were supposed to play the FBI agent, in which case we have a great movie, but you're going to play, now you decide to play the nephew who's got this much of a part, but now we got to write another hour's worth of material to justify this.
Yep.
But you're right.
Let's do it.
You know,
Let's do
but
it.
you're right. And just to make sure they know it's my movie, I'll play a radio host at the end of this movie that has nothing to do with this movie whatsoever. But because it's not quite long enough,
Yeah.
it's not quite 3. Is it 3 hours yet? Well, this will put us over 3 hours, so we'll be okay. Just to make sure everybody knows it's my movie,
Yeah.
I'll play the radio. What the? Anyway, so what happened here is he said, we should have a big thing on the top of the church.
Yeah.
Great idea, Jack. They fly Warren Scarron back in. And I talked to him. He goes, how can this movie be in trouble? And they rewrote it. And Tim's going, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
You know, but, Tim was not Tim Burton then.
Yeah.
And he did it. Well, it's okay. But again, it's not the first hour.
Of course.
Right there, you are.
Do you know the John Peters giant spider story?
To John what?
John Peters giant spider story?
No.
Kevin Smith, filmmaker, was writing the Superman movie.
Lives.
It was the Tim Burton Superman movie that was supposed to happen. And John Peters was like, you know how this movie ends, right? And Tim's like, no, I don't know. Or Kevin's like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. And he goes, he's going to fight a giant spider. That's what I want. I want a giant spider in this movie. You got to put it in the movie. And Kevin's like, I don't know how to do this. I don't know what to do, whatever. So Kevin is off the project. Doesn't happen. The movie...
He did write a version with a giant spider. It
Yeah.
didn't work, and
Yeah.
he took the blame for it.
Insane. So the movie does not happen. A year later, Kevin goes to see Wild Wild West, the Will Smith movie.
John Peters produced it?
Yeah.
John Peters produced it. Guess what it ends with? Will Smith fighting a giant spider. So he got his giant spider in the movie.
But at what cost?
At what cost?
By the way, John Peters was great to me.
Yeah.
For the most part. I have
Yeah.
to say, he was great to me. The story was, before we start shooting, I walk into the dining room at Pinewood is the actual dining room of the ship, the ocean liner, the Mauretania, which was the sister ship to the Titanic.
Wow.
So it's that great dining room.
Yeah.
And I walk in, I see Peters, and this is before we start shooting, Peters and Mark Canton, they're talking. I go, what's up? And he goes, we're trying to figure out how to do the making of Batman. We're trying to come through the through line. And I said, well, that doesn't seem very difficult. And he goes, what do you mean? I go, well, I just say, okay, hi, I'm Alexander Knox. Gotham is my city. Let me take you around. They look at me, you got it. They go, he goes, you got it. He goes, we'll pay you 20. He goes, this is hand to God, this is true. He goes, we'll give you 20,000. I'm shocked. I go, I beg your pardon. He goes, okay, 25. So raise my hand to God. That's how it happened. Wow. He goes, plus you can be executive, you can direct it. I go, I don't want to direct it. I got enough to do. He goes, well, you can be the executive producer. Fine. I go, I'll tell you what, rather than give me 25, I want you to pay for all my expenses. I moved to a different hotel. Just amazing place I stayed. And he goes, fine. I had to track him down to get the money at the end, but but that's something else. Wow. But that's a true story. We'll give you $20,000. I beg your pardon? 25. What a tough negotiator I am.
That's such a Hollywood
I never saw
story.
it, by the way.
Yeah.
I never saw it.
It's got to be on YouTube or something, I assume, right?
I don't even want to see it.
Yeah.
We can do commentary for that.
Yeah,
Next,
there
if
you
you
go.
guys want.
Yeah.
Ooh, he pushed her down, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, good for him. Though they would take that out nowadays. Ooh, they take this out too. I don't remember this scene. Like I said, the last hour.
I think this was they realized they needed Batman and Joker to have a scene together before the ending, and this was the scene.
This is the Dance with the Devil in the Pale Moonlight scene.
Yeah. Oh, originally in the script,
Yeah.
he gets on a horse here to chase after the Joker. So yeah.
So maybe this is the horse scene.
Maybe
yeah.
it led to the ending.
No, the horse scene with Vicky Vale was they were just out riding in Wayne
Okay.
Manor.
Huh.
Yeah, maybe I read an early one.
Boy, we had what great suits.
Yeah.
I would get another suit done at Savile Row, but you got to be back. You got to go like 3 or 4 fittings over like 6 months, 5 months.
Yeah.
So I'm going.
You got to book another movie out there for 6
Yeah,
months.
I'm going there at the end of the month.
Oh yeah.
So am I. I'm running there for 4 or 5 months.
Excuse me, at the end of May 1, I get there. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I go to London
you
every year to see shows. I go see theater there. I'm seeing like 6 shows in 4 days.
Oh, cool.
I go there to see theater.
What are you excited to see?
They have a new production of Oliver, and Oliver's never done. Oliver's very rarely done unless you're doing high school. I mean, because it's big. Oliver's got one of the great scores ever. I mean, great songs in Oliver. And also you have politically, it's difficult nowadays, again, in the PC world, because of Fagin.
Sure.
Because of Fagin, that character, without being anti-Semitic.
Sure. Sure.
But I understand it's great.
Yeah.
I know it's great. It's a big Cameron Mackintosh, so it's going to be very, and it's never done.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a play at the National called Dear England, which is about when Gareth Southcote took over the England soccer team, and that won the Olivier Award. I'm seeing Giant again with John Lithgow. I saw the first production because I was there one night last year when the first production off. Not in the West End, and it's about Roald Dahl.
Yeah.
He's writing James and the Giant Peach. It's coming out.
Oh, wow.
And he writes this. Roald Dahl is a real prick.
Yeah. A lot of that stuff.
Real prick,
Yeah.
and one of the great anti-Semites of our time. I mean, he
Like
makes
top
it,
10.
and he keeps. He's top 10.
Easy
and,
top 10.
and his publisher's Jewish, his agent is Jewish, and he says, "What did you write this?" He writes this book review that is so crazy, and he goes on, and he says, even Hitler, who's a real stinker, he must have had something. I mean, it's like, what are you talking about? And he doubles down on it.
Yeah.
And Lithgow was great. So now it's at the West End. I'll go see it again.
Oh, cool.
So I'm going to see that. And then there's another play called Manhunt, which is about the biggest manhunt in London history, in England history. And that took place, I think, in the early 2000s. This guy got out of prison and went on a rampage.
Wow.
And then, what else am I seeing? And then there's a play called The Comedy About Spies, which is done by the company who did The Play That Goes Wrong.
Oh, sure.
And the Brits do farce much better than Americans.
Yeah.
Did you ever see One Man, Two Governors?
No, I
The
saw a
original
Play That Goes
was
Wrong.
great.
I did see that.
Did you ever see Noises Off, the original?
Yes.
I saw the original for my honeymoon.
Oh, yeah.
And it's great. And there's another play that's opening on Broadway that I saw last time called Operation Mincemeat that is great.
Oh, wow.
It is right up. It's maybe the 2 or 3 funniest plays I ever saw. Based on a true story. Operation Mincemeat was a real World War II British spy mission conducted by MI5 to kind of they created a character who they took a body and they created a persona and they loaded him up with information and made sure they drowned him. Well, they sent him off on a submarine, made sure that the Nazis found him, and they had all this information on where they were landing. And they didn't know it was going to work. And it was devised by some guy at MI5 named Ian Fleming.
Oh, wow.
And they're making jokes during the whole thing about, who's maybe get Bond to do it,
Wow.
So, and it's funny.
Yeah.
This is big there's been 2 movies made about it. One with Colin Firth a couple of years ago, and another one called The Man Who Never Was many years ago.
Oh, yeah.
But this is a big comedy. It's a
that's
musical.
cool.
And they're all changing sexes and everything.
Yeah.
And it is big funny.
Oh, that's great.
And the Brits just do farce so much better. They're not afraid. See, farce is really, comedy is about somebody losing dignity.
Sure.
And the Brits don't have that problem. They've always
don't
been
mind.
cross-dressing. Americans don't like to lose dignity.
Yeah.
Here it is. That's what they'll.
I assumed that line had to be from something else.
No, yeah,
but it's not.
no.
It is from this. Like, you assume that was a line from something, you know, and it wasn't.
Well, now it is.
According to Google.
No, it's not. It's not.
Really?
I googled it last night when I was rewatching. Now we're all on our phones looking.
I am not. I'm watching this amazing movie. You know what's crazy about this
Dance
movie?
with the Devil.
Right.
Sure.
That's the name
Yeah.
of the movie. I mean,
Yes.
That was the original line he had. Have you ever seen the movie Dance with the Devil?
or it's a song lyric.
In the Pale Moonlight is from the Pickwick Papers, the Charles Dickens novel. So I guess you're combining the two.
of course.
Well, here it is. There's a song. It's a Dance with the Devil. I think it might be in there.
Oh, interesting.
See here, Vicky Vale opens the present that Joker leaves for her.
Yes.
She knows not to do that.
She
Why
shouldn't
would
do
she
it.
do that?
She shouldn't do it.
Could be gas. Could be anything.
Again, the second hour.
Yeah.
You hear my point? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
slowing down, this
Yeah.
movie. But it's still pretty damn good.
It's exciting.
Yeah, she shouldn't.
She
do
should have
this.
done that, Vicky.
Why, Vicky. Oh,
And then she faints. It's too much for her.
Not a bad fall, though.
No, it's good. And the music hits really well.
By the way, talking about movie stars, and Jack was great.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Jack is funny. You know, but movie stars. What is this scene?
This is
Pretty short.
This
This
is
is pretty much all exposition, right?
Yes.
And I could have done more with this, but I don't know how much. You know.
you say in
On the way back home, I gave an Oscar performance on the car, but coming back about you should know.
in the bonus stuff on the DVD, you say you're like, I'm the king of exposition in this movie.
Do I say that?
Yeah.
Well, that's what he does.
Yeah.
My dad used to wear a pencil behind his ear. That's why
nice.
the pencil behind the ear.
Yeah. There is a thing, the behind the scenes stuff about Knox, and the only two people that talk in it are you and Jack is talking about how good you are in the movie.
How what?
How good you are in the
Really?
movie. Yeah, it's really nice.
I've never heard that. Now I got to watch it.
Yeah.
It's
It's
nice.
short, but it's very nice.
The you know when you're dealing with stars, I mean, did you ever read the book, the best book probably ever about movie business, William Goldman's Adventures in the Screen Trade?
Mm-hmm.
It's the book.
Yeah.
And he talks about movies. He wrote All the President's Men and Butch Cassidy and all these great movies, Marathon Man. And he talks about dealing with studio heads and actors and directors and everything.
Mm-hmm.
He says movie stars. He goes, movie stars are a rare breed. He goes, they get up in the morning. They have to take their kids off to school. He goes, and they're just like you and I. They get up in the morning. They have to do their morning routines. They take their kids. He goes, there's only one difference between them and you and I. He goes, from the time they wake up till the time they go to bed, no one ever tells them no. He said, he goes, and that's very true. No one tells them no, and also, their points of view of the world become, and he says, I don't care their points of view. It happened to me one time. It's yeah, and they're all full. I was playing in a celebrity golf tournament with Sean Connery.
Oh, wow.
And you're playing with Sean Connery. And, Sean Connery was a huge chauvinist. And,
Sure.
he was, what he was originally? He was a bodybuilder.
Wow.
Oh.
He was a bodybuilder. He won Mr. Scotland or Mr. Wales or something like that. And, he would talk about, you would see the interviews with Connery. He'd talk about slapping women around and stuff, But he's still Sean Connery. So... And and Sean was all about money. He was always known for money. Mm-hmm. That's why he left Bond. Mm-hmm. Bond has never given any actor a piece of the profits ever.
That's crazy.
No, it's not. I asked.
No,
about
but
that.
it's sad.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's the part.
Yeah.
They give it. What they do is they give the actors bonuses. If you reach if the movie gets this level, you get this bonus. So they're getting bonuses along the way, but nobody has ever gotten a piece of the points.
Wow.
So, Connery's walking down the first fairway with me, and he doesn't know me from a hole in the wall. But he says, "You were in that movie Cobb, weren't you?" And I said, "Yeah." And they, I go, it didn't do very well. He goes, yeah, I'll tell you why that movie didn't do well. Because it showed what it takes to be great. And Americans don't want to see what it really takes to be great. And I said, that's an interesting observation. Although I should tell you, Sean, it bombed in the UK too. and he I don't think he said 2 words to me the rest of the day. Again, movie stars.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you've worked with a lot of big ones, though. You've had your
I've
De
been
Niro's.
fortunate. Listen, it's my history.
Jones.
History success. Stand next to somebody good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really believe that. Whether it was Robin or Costner and Jack or whoever, De Niro, whatever. Stand next to somebody really good.
Yeah.
You're in the shot. Sure.
Yeah.
Did you know Robin before?
Yes, Robin and I were friendly. Robin and I were we were in the clubs together, so I knew Robin. So that was not. He liked having me in Thailand because that was all Barry Levinson too. Mm-hmm. Another great person, Barry Levinson. I was lucky.
Yeah, you are lucky. You're still lucky.
Yeah,
you're doing.
I just had Jason Reitman.
Yeah, you're great.
Great guy.
You're so great in that movie.
Yeah, that movie's pretty good.
Another set that is amazing.
Different but great. Yeah,
no, but it looks just like it.
Well, it's the original blueprint.
Yeah, it's
they
amazing.
actually built the set from the original Studio 8H. They found the blueprints.
That's so cool.
And they lit every part of the set.
Yeah.
So the cameras could move at any point.
Yeah.
If somebody did something, it was already lit. Everything. They had the pictures of Arturo Toscanini on the wall and Perry Como, and it was. And he's so chill. He is the. There's not many guys like Jason Reitman.
It was just I interned at SNL in college.
Uh-huh.
And it was amazing to watch that movie. And any scene of the movie, I was like, I know exactly where that is.
Yeah.
Because it's just 1-to-1.
Yeah, it's exactly.
Boom.
It's two. The inch.
Did you have to do any research for that role? Like, as far as Dave, there's not a ton of interviews out there.
Well, here's the thing: is I called Alan Zweibel.
Oh,
Alan Zweibel's an old friend of mine, so I would talk to him about that. And he gave me some insight that I never really used much. He ate a lot of donuts, apparently.
He was there a long time.
Yeah, no, people love
or
Davey.
Something like that. Yeah.
And the thing he said about why Davey got along so well with Lorne is Davey had no ego, and Lorne needed somebody who had no ego, because it's
it was a tough crew in the beginning. Yeah,
it's Lorne's show.
Yeah.
So, but boy, what finally worked like 3 or 4 days on that movie. But what a good time and good people and. That was fun. And, of course, it's Saturday Night Live, so obviously we shot it in Atlanta.
I like how that movie built, though. Like, it started okay, like, in terms of people finding it. Yes. It started okay at the box office, and then word got out very quickly how good it was.
It didn't do well.
Well, no, but it's like now people really appreciate it. It's unfortunately they're watching on Netflix. I had this
discussion with Jason, because we got pretty damn good reviews for the most part. And if they were going to do it the way they did it, why didn't they put it on Netflix a month earlier so we would have gotten more nominations?
Totally.
Oh, wow.
We would have gotten, there's not a doubt in my mind we would have gotten more nominations. And I don't know, I don't think it's, look, they did this movie as a favor to Jason. This was he had just done Ghostbusters, and they want to keep that Ghostbusters thing alive.
Of course.
That's a big money maker. So they said, okay, let's give him, it was $8 million to do this thing with $10 million or so. And they figured they'd, do okay. So they probably broke about even, maybe made a few bucks. I don't know.
Yeah.
And they keep Ghostbusters alive.
Of course.
Sure. Vicky Vale has just entered the Batcave.
This movie has gotten slower.
She figured out off screen that he was Batman and came to visit him.
The music in that movie is so good too. Not to go back to it, but
whoa! That was the coolest thing in there.
Yeah.
John Batiste. He asked John Batiste to do the score. He was playing Billy Preston, and so he actually did the score live.
So
Wait a minute, you
cool.
got to hear the story.
Yeah,
he did it live after they wrapped one day. Right towards the end, they had and John Batiste. He would show John Batiste's scenes. And he got 3 woman horn players, and John Batiste said, "Okay, give me a ticket." And did it, and they did it live. And I'm sitting there with Nicholas. What's Nicholas' last name?
Braun.
Braun, right?
Yeah.
And we're sitting there together, and I go, "Are you believing this?" And the horns would come in, pop, and they're just doing it live to the screen. And he's going to, and they're just. I go, "This is like watching Miles Davis."
Yeah.
And Dizzy Gillespie, and Oscar Peterson, and I go, "Holy shit!
Yeah,
I've never seen anything like this before." And that was,
He's like a freak talent,
Oh,
and I
he
say
is.
that with all the respect in the world. Like
He
it's
is
insane his
special.
level of his musical
A
talent.
lot of special in it.
Yeah.
I didn't really even know that Tracy Letts was in the movie until I saw it.
Oh yeah,
Because he shot one day.
Yeah.
They replaced the actor who was originally doing it, and Tracy Letts, who
Sean Young.
they replaced Tracy Letts, who may be top 10 actor
of
working
course,
today.
yeah. And writer, and he's like a very talented.
He's Tracy
guy.
Letts.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have met him.
Mm-hmm.
But I had like I said, I only had a couple of days
Yeah.
there.
That's good.
And I
It's a
got
good
to talk
experience.
with Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
Which was nice because we had met before because he did a movie that my college roommate directed.
Oh wow.
And where he played Vincent Van Gogh.
Oh
And
sure, a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we talked about my crazy college roommate, the most maybe a very successful artist
Wow.
named Julian Schnabel. And he Oscar nominee. He did a great movie. Julian did one of the great movies of the century called The Diving Bell and the Butterfly, where it's all this guy who cannot talk, and it's in French, and he can only talk through blinking his eye, and he told it from his point of view. How he did it.
Wow.
He won the Cannes Award, and then he was nominated for an Oscar.
That's
I mean,
amazing.
Julian's a character, but he's terrifically
Sure.
talented.
It's always amazing when two people become successful in the entertainment world and they were both college roommates.
Right.
You know,
Well, yeah,
or even like the Tommy Lee Jones Al Gore.
Yep.
You know, like
Yep.
that-
Craig Mazin, Ted Cruz.
Yes.
Well, Christopher Reeve and Robin Williams, right?
Yeah.
Like people say, hey, well, it's like, University of Houston. Are you, they're proud that you're, a very famous person? I go, I wasn't the most famous person in my dorm room. I'll tell you a great Jack story. During this parade scene where he's coming down, he had met, I guess my mother-in-law was visiting us. This is the parade scene, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay, so he had met somewhere, I guess in makeup or something like that. He had met my mother-in-law, who was just a salt-of-the-earth person. And we came to the set the next day or something, and doing this scene. And this is where he's doing that. And we were out of the sight line. And as this thing, so we're watching the scene being shot. He sees her, and he points and waves to her during the scene.
Wow.
And it's like, who does that?
Wow.
Who does that?
I mean, that's how you become a star.
Well,
That's what it is,
no,
but-
that's not how you become a star, but that's where you transcend.
Yes.
You become more than a star.
Sure.
I think he enjoys being Jack.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Now, remember, he had done a really big part before this. He played a big character. He had done The Witches of Eastwick before
Oh,
this.
yeah.
Right? So he's pretty big in that, too.
Yeah.
Sure.
And that was produced by John Peters and Warner Brothers and Goober. So
Was that how that happened? That they got him for this through John Peters?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
In fact, I once asked Tim Burton, who do you want to play the Joker? And he said, John Glover.
Oh.
And I know John Glover. John Glover was later on Arliss.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
John Glover is also one of the great actors.
Of course.
But there was no way in hell Warner Brothers was going to let
Yeah.
John Glover play this part. I told John this story. In fact, John Glover now, I think, is the voice of
He's
Joker
on
or Batman or somebody.
something.
Yeah.
Well, he was Lex Luthor's father on
In
Smallville,
Smallville.
and he was in Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
In a small part.
Yeah.
He's great. He's
Oh,
fantastic.
he's a great actor.
He's really great.
Great actor.
But yeah, they would not having him top line this.
Yeah, come on.
It's not.
I
yeah.
mean, you're going to take the most expensive movie ever made,
Of course.
and Jack Nicholson or John Glover. Really? Are we discussing this? So, but plus, when they talked about Jack Nicholson the Joker, you said, yeah, of course.
Yeah. I mean, Robin also wanted it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Robin would not have been as good.
It would have been different. Yeah. There he is.
That's in the Prince song right there. That little
Gotham's
soundbite.
Greed. Gotham's Greed is in the script.
Yeah.
Could have done more with that.
No, you made a Prince song. Like you made it into a Prince song. You
I
did it
make
perfect.
I have it on my phone now.
Yeah.
So, but I've never gotten through to ASCAP. I want to know if I'm more. I gotta believe I signed everything away.
I'm
Probably.
sure. Yeah.
But it's worth a phone call. Because if I didn't,
Yeah.
I might be able to buy another house.
Yeah. You could buy Westwood. That's you'd be.
I could buy that outfit for Prince.
Yeah.
It's his color. God, he's good.
Who do you get intimidated by? Like who was your biggest? I'm scared to work with this person. Anybody?
Never scared.
Yeah.
I mean, I work with Tommy Lee Jones. He's He's pretty formidable. No, I don't.
De Niro was fine.
No, he's fun.
Yeah.
I had during doing Mistress, which is probably my best performance. I mean, every day I had a great actor. It was Martin Landau and Eli Wallach and De Niro and Danny Aiello and Cheryl Lee Ralph and Gene Smart and Laurie Metcalf and Christopher Walken.
Insane lineup. Yeah.
You know, that's pretty strong stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm carrying the movie.
Yeah.
Or trying to carry it, I should say. But it's a good movie.
How was Walken?
He worked one day. He was fine.
Yeah.
He was fine.
Tommy Lee Jones lives up to the reputation.
In every way.
Prickly. Yeah.
In every way. Smart.
Yeah. He's good in that movie.
Oh, he's great in the movie. I like the movie. Dark movie. Not for everybody.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it. Dark character.
Mm-hmm.
You see, this is where I died.
Oh, interesting.
How would you have died? Get shot?
I think so.
Yeah.
That was a really weak thing. Yeah, I remember this.
I mean, it does feel like if someone is going to die, you would have an impact. You know what I mean? Like, you are the character where people would be like...
to a dying scene.
Yeah. So much smoke in this movie. There's so much.
It's Smilex gas, Patrick.
No, I know, but in other scenes, there's also a lot of smoke.
There's Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
When they
Look at that painting.
Revealed what the Batmobile and the Batwing looked like at I think it was New York Comic Con.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't there, but the reaction from what I hear was the car was met with confusion, but the Batwing was met with cheers.
Oh, wow.
Because it's the symbol. Like,
I'll tell you what was met with confusion.
Mm-hmm.
Was the nowadays it's a piece of pop art. But when they first broke out the symbol, the actual bat thing, nobody knew what the hell they were looking at. They didn't look at it. It was like a Rorschach test.
Yeah.
Originally they had right over here on the corner of where the AFCO filmed now the, what is that called, that big theater there? What's it called? Where they charge $50 to go see the movie. What's it called? You get the dinner and everything.
Yes, yes.
Right. Well, there's that big, there's that billboard on top of it.
Yeah.
And all they had was the logo.
Yep.
And people would say, what the hell is that? Because you did not see it. People would look at it reversely. Mm-hmm. It was a Rorschach, and they couldn't make it out. They didn't know what is that. It was the bat symbol. That was confusing.
Right.
And that was. I remember being at those marketing meetings, and people talking about that. God, I forgot the guy's name. He was really talented. Joel somebody.
Which is so wild, just because it's so iconic
it's
now.
Iconic advertising.
Now.
Yeah.
But if you saw it then and never seen it before,
Of course.
It looks like a mouth. Like the first time I saw it.
Yeah.
Let me see. It's like because they looked at it in reverse.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's the best.
It's the best.
See, this is all. No, in fact, they haven't even gotten to the fight yet, right?
Yep, it's coming.
Like I said, that's
Yeah.
Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is all second hour.
Sure.
But man, they're giving it their all. Everyone's on board. Very sad death coming up here.
Do they have no? They don't have the bat. They wouldn't have the bat thing on their jacket. I got it on mine.
Yeah.
On the side, they have the Joker thing up there like that, the patch, and then the bat patch is on the sleeve.
Oh, there you go.
Bob the Goon.
Bye, Bob. A lot of extras too.
Here's the biggest reaction of the night in the movie theater opening
here?
night. Right here, yeah. And the cover of the Score album.
Oh, wow.
That's what they used.
How many times do you think you've seen this movie?
Maybe a half a dozen.
Yeah.
I've seen it more than
I don't know. Yeah, this is not.
What is the one that you revisit the most of yours?
There's a bunch of them.
Yeah.
I find myself watching Shawshank.
Mm-hmm.
I find myself watching The Great Escape, Magnificent Seven, Liberty Valance.
Mm-hmm.
The Godfather. I
Sure.
just watched it on the airplane yesterday ago.
Yeah.
I always tell my wife, I'm watching this movie called The Godfather. Have you ever seen it?
What about of your own movies?
Not. Bull Durham's a good movie.
Yeah.
Maybe Bull Durham.
Yeah.
Patrick, which of Robert's films do you watch the most?
That's a great question.
That means more than once.
Probably this or Bull Durham.
Really?
I think those are probably the two. Yeah.
Although I will say that I hadn't seen Good Morning Vietnam in a very long time.
Okay.
And I realized, this is a very good movie. And the reason it was period when we did it. That also helps if it's period then.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've also seen Saturday Night 3 times.
Oh, okay.
So that honestly, because I watched it, my mom hadn't seen it when I went home a couple months ago. And, it's one of those ones where I'm like, yeah, I'll watch that with you. You haven't
Right.
seen it.
Boy, the cast is good in that.
Yeah.
Aren't they?
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
They should do a sequel to that where it's the weird year with Anthony Michael Hall.
They could do every cast,
Yeah, Anthony Michael Hall.
You got-
The only. It's funny because I've never been on Saturday Night Live. I've never gone to a taping of Saturday.
Oh,
Night
wow.
Live. And yet I directed it. So, but one year I was invited to the cast party that year, and Downey's on that. Downey was there, and so I'm at the cast party, and I'm sitting there talking with Downey, who couldn't have been nicer. I love Downey, and so after a while, then Anthony Michael Hall comes in with his agent. He sits at the table and. He introduced myself, and he turns and he says, points to his agent and goes, or points to me and goes, and then points to his agent and goes, Jew number 1 meet Jew number 2.
Oh my God.
Jew number 2 meet Jew number 1.
God.
And I could see Robert Downey was so embarrassed.
Yeah.
Was so embarrassed.
They
By the
were
way,
also,
what-
they were
did I
also
ever-
children.
What's that?
They're like 18 then or something like
No.
that. I think
Well,
Anthony
was
Michael
it when they
Hall
were on the show?
Yeah, no.
Oh, this was after them being on the show?
This was
No,
that
this was
year.
them at the
They
Anthony
were
Michael
not
Hall-
18.
They were
I'm-
young. He was the youngest.
I'm
for
going to
sure,
find
but I don't
out
know
how
if
old he
18.
was, but I think he was 19 or 18.
Maybe it was a new character he was workshopping.
What was interesting was, Anthony Michael Hall, the
He
studio.
was 17 years old.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
He was going through some stuff.
So he's a 17-year-old
Yeah,
asshole.
yeah.
Okay, so what was interesting is, what year is it?
85, 84?
Okay.
He joined in 85.
Okay, so the studio executive at Orion wanted Anthony Michael Hall to play Nuke LaLoosh in Bull Durham. Really wanted him to play. So Ron Shelton, who has no power at this time, he's afraid he's going to get fired at any second.
Sure.
So he says, listen, go to New York. He goes, I don't think he's right for Nuke LaLoosh. He goes, well, go to New York and meet with him. He'll read the script. He'll talk with him. Maybe you get different things. So
Yeah.
Ron flies to New York, meets him supposed to meet at the Columbus Cafe at around, I don't know, let's say it's 9 o'clock. 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, no Anthony Michael Hall. 10 o'clock, no Anthony Michael Hall. Shows up around 11 o'clock. Sits down, hey, how you doing? I'm sorry I'm late, okay? Yeah. And he goes, well, what'd you think? He goes, well, I'm only about 30 pages into it, and so, but I got some notes. So Ron, I don't know if you know Ron. Ron's an ex-ball player.
Uh-huh.
Ron don't take shit.
Sure.
But he's holding everything inside because he knows if he beats this guy up, he's going to get fired.
Yeah.
So he says, so-and-so. Anyway, so meeting ends. Ron calls his agent and goes, let me tell you what your fucking client just did. And he says, he goes, I was ready to kill. And he says, Ron, stay another day. Please, stay in, because he's ready to fly back. Stay another day. Please, I promise you. He'll read the script. I have my word. So he goes, okay, for you, I will do this. Stays the extra day. Next day, supposed to show up at 9 o'clock. No, 9 o'clock. Show 10 o'clock. No, 10 o'clock. Shows up about 10:30. Comes in there. Sorry, I'm late. He goes, good. What do you think? Well, I'm on page 65 now. And I got some notes.
Oh, no.
And so Ron says, forget this guy. And the jerk who is the studio executive, who I got a Batman story about. This. He says, he goes, okay. So he goes, and he says, when he wants Tim Robbins, he goes, Who's going to believe that Susan Sarandon's going to wind up with Tim Robbins? But you'll believe Anthony Michael Hall?
Yeah.
But anyway, so this guy,
so
there's
funny.
one of the all-time great jerks named Rob Fried, who shall remain nameless.
Yep, of course.
He had a bet. He was at this point a studio exec when this comes out with Columbia. Which is it Sony then, or is it still Columbia? I don't know. Anyway, this is Phantom of the Opera stuff here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he makes a bet with me. He says, "I will bet you that Ghostbusters 2 does better than Batman." I said, "Fine, you're on." He says, "I'll bet you $100 Batman doesn't do $100 million."
Wow.
Now that's a big number back then.
Yeah.
And I said, "I'll bet you that." Okay, this is a $100 bet. It does $100 million like in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And then he says, no, I meant $100 million in film rentals. And I said, "Rob, no matter what formula you put on it, it did it." Yep. To this day, he stiffed me for $100.
Oh my God.
This is the same jerk that wanted Anthony Michael Hall.
Wow.
I think we should make absolutely clear that, in case kids are too young that are listening to this, how big this movie was the year it came out. Like, it's beloved right now.
Yeah.
Was it the highest rated? Was it the highest grossing movie of all time about this time?
It might have been. It was definitely of the year. I don't know if it was of all time because we got Star Wars. Like Star Wars was probably.
Yeah,
but this was
I don't know.
easily of the year and that was the biggest year for movies.
Might have been
at the time.
Or
ever.
even if it's not, it's got to be the top 2 or 3.
Can I tell you something? It's actually number 2 this year because Last Crusade made more worldwide.
Oh, wow.
But still, 411 million in 1989 is insane.
Yeah.
And it killed Ghostbusters. Like, it literally is the reason.
Ghostbusters wasn't a very good movie.
That's true.
Either.
That's true. Unless somebody from that's on our show, then in which case we loved it.
That wasn't Michael or whoever this guy was. I don't know whoever that guy was.
I mean, it's over $1 billion today.
Yeah, oh, sure.
It's $1,052,000,000.
And Jack had a big percentage of it.
Yeah.
He got paid for the next 3. It was in his contract. For any
didn't know
sequels,
that.
he would get money too.
He also, for the DVD,
Really?
he made $1 million to come do the DVD interview.
Yeah, and that's why I'm not on it, because they wouldn't pay me. I said, it's like they wouldn't pay me.
Yeah.
I said, "Wait a minute, are you doing this you're selling these things, aren't you?"
Yeah.
I mean, you're not doing this out of the goodness of your heart.
Yeah.
So I didn't do it.
The lighting.
And I would have done it for less than $1 million.
Oh, yeah? How much less?
A lot less.
He did this for free for us, Patrick.
That's true.
They
That's
could have
true.
bought me lunch, I might have done. But the fact that they wouldn't give me anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Is Kim on it?
Yes.
Is Michael on it?
No.
They didn't pay him either.
Yeah. They use old interviews with him.
What was the premiere like?
It was big. It was right over here. It was on both theaters. And they told, all the big movie premieres were here then. They were all here then.
Why is that not the case anymore?
Because Westwood's not what it was. I
Yeah.
mean, remember, again, you didn't have Century City. It wasn't built yet. The Promenade wasn't built yet.
Those 2 theaters are still great, though.
The one theater's great. I don't think the Bruin's that great.
Sure. The exterior of it is great.
Last time I saw anything in the Bruin, it was Margot Robbie in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah. Yeah.
I watched that again the other day. It's good.
It's good.
Love it.
It's,
I like it. A lot of people don't. I like it. It's a fairy tale.
Yeah.
You know.
I also think it's a great movie to just throw on while
It's
you're
long.
like, but while
It's
you're
long.
cleaning up the apartment, and like you can watch it in the background, and you're like,
the scene again with Leonardo DiCaprio
Yes.
when he's shooting the TV show with the little girl
Yeah.
goes on forever.
but she's good in that scene.
That's what a fast forward button's for.
Do you guys want to do that movie right after this
Yeah,
one?
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
We'll go
cool.
right into it, yeah.
Cool.
My apartment building is in that movie. I won't say where, but there is a shot. Brad Pitt drives
There's
by
a lot
my
to
apartment.
like.
Well, you
There's
live
a-
on that ranch.
I do. I live on Spawn Ranch.
All right, let's get it back to Batman. So was the premiere the first time you saw the movie, Robert?
No,
Okay.
it was the second time I saw it.
They invite you to...
I saw a screening about a week or 2 earlier.
And what did you
at
think?
Warner Brothers?
No, it was at the screening room at Sony, that big Cary Grant screening room there, And that's when I went with Mark Johnson. We saw it, and like I said, the first hour I was, and then by the end of it, we're saying, "What do you think?" And I go, "I don't know. I don't know," because it is it ends on this more or less a downer note almost.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Yeah.
And studio, the theaters were very worried. They thought it was too dark.
Sure. It's also so weird.
Well, they hadn't seen anything like this before.
It is, but it is like you're watching it and you're like, this is a weird movie in a good way, though. Now looking at it, it's in a good way. But I can imagine at the time being nervous. Because also, like, obviously Burton's a weird director. He makes weird movies. And
there's the Keaton of it. People didn't know yet.
Yeah.
I had a different reaction to Robert when I first saw it.
Yeah, what was your reaction?
I loved it. I mean, I saw it with a sold-out crowd in a huge theater.
Right, okay,
Red Bank, Middletown, New Jersey.
Studio executives
right,
and stuff like that.
There was cheering, laughing.
How old were you, Brian?
15.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
different.
Perfect age. Yeah.
Oh, this is why I do what I do now. I fight crime, Robert. You don't know that. But no. It's great. I was actually in a Warner Brothers meeting once, and I was getting yelled at by an executive. And this picture right here, where he's holding Joker, was behind the executive. And I phased out of yelling, and I just watched. I looked at the picture because I was trying to find a new place to be at the time.
Sure.
So I got to meet Michael Keaton. I got to work with Michael Keaton on an animated movie, and I told him that story, and he thought about it for a second. And he looks at me and goes, "Did I look butch?" I was like, "Yeah, you look butch." And he's like, "Good to know. Good to know."
Yeah, Michael's so special.
He is.
I'm happy that he's getting the past few years, the renaissance of him.
He's arguably my favorite actor. And he's like, watching him in like Birdman and Spotlight. And, but I've always liked him. I've always thought, he's just great.
He's also great when he hosts SNL. He's really funny.
Yep.
Well, he is funny.
Yeah.
He finds an interesting angle on his character.
Yeah.
There's a movie called Goodrich that just came out on Max.
See it.
It's great. I didn't think it was going to be good.
It looks soapy.
You'll like it. I think because if you like him, he's amazing in it.
And the little girl.
See, this is all Phantom of the Opera. This is all Phantom of the Opera.
Wow.
I mean, that shot is insane.
Yep.
His hair is crazy in it.
I mean, how much? I wonder how. Did you ever Google how much money he made from this movie?
No,
I think he said at one point in an interview he made 50.
Yeah, I think it's more than that.
Yeah, probably by now. Do we have to pay him for this?
Yeah, it's
somebody does probably. They let you play. They let you do this, just or just video. It's
just audio.
It's just audio.
Oh, okay.
People have to.
People can sync it up while they're watching.
Oh, okay.
You press play at the same time.
Okay.
Or they can watch another movie entirely and just listen to us talk.
Okay, so it says here we go. It says 60. It says he got an upfront fee of $6 million, a percentage of the box office, a percentage of all Joker-related merchandise.
Wow, that's still going. They still make Jack Joker merchandise.
Yeah. And then the follow-up movies, too.
I might have felt this went on forever.
Yeah, it does.
But again, what do I know?
Yeah, the bell tower stuff goes a little long. I think if you cut that down
like
a little
I said, this is Phantom of the Opera.
Of course.
It is weird that Batman kills Joker, by the way. He does just kill him.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't he?
Well, Batman has a code, Robert. And he can't kill.
He's killed 50 other people.
That's true. He
does.
True. Ben Affleck Batman has killed more than the Michael Keaton
That
Batman.
is very true.
Robert Pattinson Batman, I don't think kills so much. Right?
I don't remember.
Adam West has never killed as Batman.
But he kills with laughs.
He kills me. And Robert, right, in a bad way.
Did you ever meet Adam West?
No.
It felt like he was around for a while.
Probably.
He wanted to be in this so bad. He wanted to be the dad in the flashback.
I'm sure.
Yeah. He did a lot of interviews when this movie came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it helped his career.
Yeah.
Sure. Batman just kills him. Joker won, getting away. Batman's like, no, I'm going to cheat. He would not die if they made this today, correct? So they could bring him back for many, many sequels.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he doesn't die in Dark Knight.
That's right. Yeah. Jack has talked about wanting to do a sequel to this, like with him coming back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, obviously not lately. He hasn't
Yeah,
said
yeah,
that, but yeah. And there was Batman 5 when they were going darker. They were going to bring him back as a hallucination.
Oh, cool.
With the Scarecrow. Yeah.
Cool.
That would be kind of neat. He did it. He killed Joker and he got the girl.
Yeah. Has anyone what's the most interesting experience you've had with fans with this movie? Because you're doing conventions a lot now. Like, do people come up for this movie mostly?
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Well, first of all, who's at these conventions? It's a sci-fi convention.
That's true.
Big
Yeah.
cobheads.
The nerds.
They're not, these aren't baseball conventions or Vietnam veterans. No, this movie, it's Batman.
Yeah. Do you get tired of talking about it?
Not really. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean, if you get good questions, it's fine. I mean, it's a great time. I'm very fortunate to have it.
Mm-hmm.
And no, it was I'm the luckiest guy in the world for this thing.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm in any more scenes, which is
I think you're coming up. You got
Oh,
one.
am I?
Yeah, he tried to convince her to stay. There you
Oh,
go.
okay.
Yeah, there you are.
You were going to get kissed, Robert.
Yeah, but what's amazing is, isn't this right afterwards? How come there's no dirt on anything?
That's true. You are very bruised though, because you took a hit.
There we go. Woo woo.
That's what you do when someone gets hurt in the face. You touch them on the face before you walk away.
Did we talk about Billy D at all?
Just briefly.
Yeah.
A little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah. You know, he did get to play Two-Face in the Lego Batman movie. He was the
that's true.
voice.
He does,
And
yeah.
he was fantastic.
Yeah. How was he? He seems
I like Billy.
he seems quiet.
I like Billy.
Yeah.
There you go.
This was during the election of '88. So that was, who was that? Dukakis and Bush.
Mm-hmm.
Not Dukakis and Bush. Dukakis and, yeah,
And Bush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Old man Bush, yeah.
Yeah.
The, so this was going on. So we discussed that.
When Michael Keaton was on Letterman for this, Letterman wanted to know if Commissioner Gordon told Batman ahead of time and they were going to do that, but he doesn't have to come. If he's showing the signal, does Batman come and go, wait, I thought you did it.
That's very funny.
Yeah, Michael had no answer.
Doesn't he also spoil that Joker kills his parents in it?
on Letterman.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like doing those conventions?
Yes. I here's the thing is about them is that the people there, you forget, it's nice when we're talking here like this, but you really forget, like a Brian, what effect these things have on people.
Yeah.
And they're genuinely nice people who are happy to see you. So you are touching people, even though you're on a screen.
Sure.
But your work does have, or being part of a project, it's not you personally, but it is. So I like that.
Yeah.
You say, geez, I did affect somebody's life.
Yeah.
If it hadn't been me, it would have been somebody else.
Sure.
But it is, I kind of like that. They're kind of easy for the most part.
Yeah. You get to see a new city.
Not much of the city because you're usually in the hall all day.
Yeah.
I'm doing one in Syracuse at the end of this month.
Oh yeah.
I just got invited to one in Liverpool.
Oh wow.
Now this is the end of November, just before Thanksgiving, and I've never been to Liverpool. Oh,
Yeah.
Here we go. Special effects. This is it. Yeah. Derek Cracknell. I saw his name on a bunch of stuff, and I saw a woman whose name was Cracknell, and I said, she's got to be his
That's
daughter.
such a specific name.
I like to. Geez, these people are so talented. These are the people who.
Yeah.
This is. You see, location manager Chris Rock.
Project consultant Bob Kane.
There you go.
This song is "Scandalous" by Prince.
Oh, okay.
I forgot.
Maybe my least favorite Prince song.
I forgot what song am I on. I know I got it here on my phone.
You know which one it was.
You were on Trust.
Yeah, that's it.
Joker makeup design Nick Dudman, who did a lot of the Star Wars prequels.
This song, I believe Prince was dating Kim Basinger by the time this
that
song
was a story.
Well, she did a version of the song with him on the single for Scandals.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, on the B side, it's her and him singing.
Weird.
Well, Kim showed up, and within 3 days, she's living with John Peters, who I believe was living with Sean Young before the accident.
Yep, sure.
John was amazing. John was something special. Well, you saw, like you talked about the licorice pizza.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bradley Cooper, he pretty much had him down.
That felt right. Yeah. That scene is the biggest jolt of energy in that movie.
Oh,
I like that movie.
It's my
But
favorite
it's
moment.
just like,
aren't you surprised that the girl, what's her name, hasn't gotten more work?
yeah, Alana.
She was really,
She's really
good in
good
that
at
and
it.
really original
Yeah.
and different.
Mm-hmm.
But Cooper's in Saturday Night.
Yep.
The boy from it plays Dick Ebersol.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
You're like
He's
Wikipedia.
a nice
picture.
guy.
I know.
I spent a little time with him.
Yeah.
I remember meeting him when he's with his dad.
Mm-hmm.
Years earlier, we were invited to a Knick game, and so we were up in the private suite, and Philip brought his son, and that's him.
Yeah.
But he couldn't have been more than, I don't know how old, maybe
Sure.
he could have been
A
12
kid.
or something. Yeah.
So, what do you think Knox is doing, Robert? And what happens to him after this movie?
What happens to Knox? Well, I imagine he, should have gotten a promotion, more money.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm trying to look to see if anybody became famous out of this. Any of the Brits.
Yeah. Garrick Hagen, who's the dad in the first scene, is Biggs Darklighter in A New Hope. My brain is broken.
The it was, it's I can't believe it's that long ago, but it is. It was a special experience, it's sure, because I was there for so long.
Yeah.
And I would go to, I only worked like 21 days out of about 3.5 months. So I had a lot of time off, but it was never enough time to go away anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 2 days, and then I'd work a day, and then 2 days off, and then a day or two, and then 2 days off. But I had my wife there, and we had all our friends come over because I had this big place. So I had her mom there for a while, our friends over there for a while. It's how great an experience. How lucky was I?
21 days is still a lot, though. That's like a movie fully could be shot in 21 days.
Sure.
Now,
I'll bet you Nora isn't shot much
Oh,
more
yeah,
than
I'm
that.
sure less. Robert, thank you so much for doing
You're
this.
welcome.
Thank you
You're
for
welcome.
making this.
Thank
This
you.
was
Yeah, it was my fault.
All right, bye, everyone. Amazing. Batman. What a movie.
When I watched it with Robert Wuhl, it was maybe the 50th, 60th time I've watched that movie.
Yeah.
The summer it came out, I saw it 4 times.
So we teased something before we watched the movie, which was the sound issue. We rented a room to record this in near Robert's house here in Los Angeles.
Because this was a big deal.
Because this was a big deal, yeah. And we didn't want to make him travel that far. We said, we'll come to you. We'll do it near you. So I rented it was like a WeWork space, not a WeWork, but it was like a rent an office for a day space kind of thing.
Pouring rain, by the way.
It was pouring rain. It was like one of the worst rainstorms in Los Angeles in a while,
Mm-hmm.
And it said on the website, you may hear some noise from outside. And we said, oh, that's fine. We'll figure it out. We get there. There's a patio that it has, and there's 2 glass doors that you can open up to go onto the patio and a curtain in front of it. Not a heavy curtain that would like stop the sound, but just like a regular lightweight curtain. And I opened up the curtain because I was like, man, you can really hear so much out there. And there was no glass pane in like the majority of it. Which meant you could just hear every car moving and every raindrop spilling, and it was really crazy. I assume we talk about this while we were recording, but it was really annoying, and I got my money back, so we didn't have to pay for it.
But don't you think it kind of added to the Gotham City of it?
Sure.
And then after we recorded, we asked Robert if he wanted to record a commentary for Batman Returns, and he reminded us that he wasn't in that, and we said, no, that's okay. So he said, okay, and he sat right back down, and next week you'll hear Robert Wuhl doing commentary for Batman. But why are you shaking your head no?
Brian, that's not true. Don't lie to the audience. We've gained so much of their trust over the years, and we don't want to
Yeah,
burn
that's
it
true.
so fast by lying to them about it.
We're America's grandparents at this point.
Are you grandma or
Yeah.
grandpa? Or are we both grandpa? Or are we both grandma?
I think we're both grandpas from different sides of the family.
Okay.
Like, we don't get along. Like, I'm mom's dad
Yeah.
and you're dad's dad. And
I
we-
want to make that very clear. We don't get along.
Well, I don't know if the audience knows this, but even when Robert was in the room with us, we were giving each other the finger the whole time,
Mhm,
you know,
mhm.
and doing the J-O move with
But
our hands.
different fingers. That was the weird thing.
That's true. Anyway, that was,
Yeah.
I didn't think you said you could get Robert Wuhl, and I didn't think you could do it.
I did it.
And I don't think he knew he was going to do Batman, even though you told him, right? He said,
Yeah.
are we doing our lists? We're like, no, Batman. He's like, oh my God. So like, we're going to be here longer.
Yeah.
But he was, what an honor.
Thank you, everyone, for watching and listening and joining us again. And we've got a really good one next week, Brian. Do you want to give a little hint on who it really is?
I don't think I have to give it. I mean, I just said it. We're doing Batman Returns with Robert
Boy.
Wuhl.
All right. Bye, everybody. Thanks for listening to Hey That's Me, a commentary podcast. This has been a That Was Just So Funny production. Your hosts have been Brian Lynch and Patrick Hotner. Music was by Alex Peabody, and our art was by Abigail Noy. You can find out more about the show by going to heythat'smepod.com and checking out our Patreon at patreon.com/commentary. The show was recorded by Mark David Christensen. If you've enjoyed the show, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Please tell your friends about this show.
No!